All right, good evening, Indiana. We are hopping in here for a update on our severe weather. Current time is 9:47 p.m. Eastern, 8:47 p.m. Central. We have a couple warnings out there in effect. Most of them are severe, and we also have additional lines of storms approaching the southwest corner of the state currently. From north to south, let's start up here. If you're just tuning in here, let's go from north all the way down south and cover every single warning and areas being impacted currently. If you are north of Rochester, Indiana, up by Gary to Angola, you guys are okay. There is no severe weather for you tonight. Down here by Logansport, a severe warning in effect here for 12 more minutes for Logansport up here to...
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Up here toward Macy and Birmingham areas. The hazard with that is 60 mile per hour winds. Down further south here from Delphi, Rossville, Mulberry, all the way down toward Crawfordsville, this line of storms is cranking. The warning is for 70 mile per hour winds here, 70 mile per hour winds, moving to the east toward Kokomo, all the way down here to Noblesville and Fishers area. As I move this further south, you're going to notice there's no warnings yet for southwest Indiana, but this line is approaching us here toward Vincennes, Terre Haute, down toward Evansville in a matter of a few hours here. So you guys still have this line to go. Most of these warnings in Illinois are baseline, which is good news. They're not considerable. They're not significant. They're just baseline severe warnings here. The main focus and concern is going to be this tornado warning in effect here for Frankfort, Thorntown, and Kirkland areas. Check over here on the velocity. Check out the rotation on this. We're going to be looking at a couple areas of rotation within this line. The main area I'm seeing is right near Bowers, heading toward Colfax. Should pass just north of Thorntown. It will cross I-65 here between Manson and Reagan areas. Good news that I'm seeing here is the rotation is not overly tight. It is there, but it's not like, oh my gosh, take cover now. Like it's not standing out to me as, significant at this point. Obviously, if you are in this red polygon, you should be in your safe place. Basement, interior room, closet, all work fine. Basement preferred if you have one. If not, interior closet, bathtub, away from windows. Put as many interior walls as you can between you and the outside as possible. Taking back the radar here, zooming back out, we have additional showers and storms across much of the state, really. Noblesville to Newcastle, down here into the Bedford, Seymour areas. These down here, not currently severe. They're not expected to be severe. So we're going to be looking at mainly this line. Let me pop my draw tool out for you guys so you can see where I'm highlighting and talking about. We're going to look at this line as our main concern. This shouldn't be severe. These storms shouldn't be severe either. Just the main line as it progresses to the east here as the night goes on. And the good news is because we've had multiple rounds of showers and storms throughout the day, our storm fuel is a lot less than what was forecasted. So the overall threat should be a little bit more subdued in nature than what we originally thought it would be. Still, though, damaging wind is still the primary concern here, as is a risk for a brief spin-up tornado or two or a couple across the central and southern portions of the state. New warning incoming now for the Kokomo region from Greentown, Sharpsville, Russiaville, as well as Flora areas. The warning is going to be for 60 mile per hour winds, and that is it. There is no hail, and there is no tornado possible tag on this. As I back this out, I'm going to animate the radar for you guys. The movement on this line is pretty much east, maybe a little bit of a deviant motion up to the north and south from some of these storms, but overall looking at a more so due east movement on these. So if you're down here in Vincent, Evansville region, and over toward Jasper and Bedford, you guys are still getting rain and some storms in portions of South Indiana, but the main severe threat is still back off to the west here, and it will take a little bit of time to reach us here in the southern part of the state. So our focus for the time being is going to be up here in the Crawfordsville, Logansport, and Kokomo areas as this line progresses to the east here as of 9:51 p.m. Eastern Time. Tornado warning continues here. The text of that warning for Clinton, Tippecanoe, Boone, and Montgomery County until 10:15. The rotation is radar indicated, meaning that there is no confirmation via spotter. There is no debris ball that they see. It is just simply rotating on on radar is rotating hard enough that there could be a tornado at any time. We're looking for the greens and the reds coming together here around that Colfax area. This area in particular is what we're going to be watching for on this rotation side of things. I don't really see much that screams imminent tornado that could happen. It just looks like a brief area of rotation that potentially may spin something up. Also have to watch the bottom part of this line as well. Whenever those greens and reds come together like this, anything they kink together, kind of hold hands and kind of couple together, it warrants attention. Otherwise, if you are out ahead of this, the bright green colors do indicate we are seeing likely very strong winds moving here out of the Crawfordsville area.
A new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
A very large new severe warning is now being issued here for several counties. It's considerable tagged, which means winds are 70 miles per hour, and there is a tag on here for a possible tornado spin up as well, but it is a severe warning, not a tornado warning. This is going to be for several counties: northwestern Madison, southern Clinton, northern Hendricks, northern Marion, all of Boone, all of Hamilton, all of Tipton, and southeastern Montgomery County until 10:45 p.m. Eastern time. And again, your main hazard with this line is 70 mile per hour gusts, and then the side risk there of a potential tornado is definitely a possibility here with this line of storms. Going back here to the reflectivity, taking a zoomed out look here, this line is very large and it spreads all the way from about Logansport, Indiana, back down into Missouri, even down into parts of Arkansas. It's a very, very long line of storms here. We are just getting, I'm not going to say just getting started, because the entire day has been filled with storms throughout the day today. So we're used to it here already in Indiana, but the severe threat here will continue and carry on for a couple more hours. It should gradually weaken as time goes on, which is at least the good news. But in the meantime, the threat is still quite significant enough and prompts us to go live here this evening. We have chasers out in the field. We have Evan and Drew. They are currently in Illinois chasing back toward the Indiana region. And we also have Caleb and Parker. Their camera is not on there, but they are in the Mount Vernon area, Illinois as well. We also have Joel and Alex paired up together. They are currently not live, but they are checking out some damage potentially in the Petersburg area. I do have some help on the way. Chandler's going to hop in the background here. We're going to kind of tag team this a little bit. Chandler's covering the Michigan side of operations tonight, and I'll be covering Indiana here. Again, my name is Ryan, and this is the Indiana Weather Network. Feel free to strap in. We're live on Facebook as well as YouTube as well. If you don't prefer watching on Facebook, you prefer YouTube, you can hop over there and find us anytime you'd like. We are live streaming simultaneously to both platforms. Taking a look back here at the tornado warning for Frankfort area. I want to watch that a little bit more closely. The rotation appears to be centered just north of Thorntown and just to the east and a little bit south of the Colfax area. Go ahead and get my screen shared in here for Chandler. There we go. Perfect. So this is going to be a tornado warning in effect here. This is going to go for another 19 minutes. Counties included Tippecanoe, for reference here, southeastern Tippecanoe County, southern Clinton County, northern Boone County, and northeastern Montgomery County until 10:15. The impact is flying debris, will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles may occur. Tree damage is likely. Radar update here, continuing a trend of broad rotation. I don't see anything that really stands out to me as a significant rotation here. I do want to take note up here just to the west of Middle Fork and Russiaville. Let's take a look at the radar first. Yeah, this area needs to be watched up here too by Geetingsville and Middle Fork. A little bit of a stick out here of this line, and there is some rotation there. So if you live downstream in Russiaville, West Middleton, New London, Ridgeway, Judson, Shanghai, Alto, and perhaps even Kokomo on the west side of Kokomo especially, Definitely be alert. This is an area of rotation that appears to have developed here in the past couple of minutes. Those greens and reds coming together definitely indicate that rotation there could be interesting to watch. It can be just south of State Route 26 between Gittingsville, Beard, and Middle Fork. Currently not tornado warned, but we may see one issued there if that continues to be the case. Yes, I am still here. Yeah, for some reason when I shared that over, I started lagging extremely hard, so I'm going to figure that out on my end. Correct. I am becoming a little bit more concerned for that Middle Fork, or we'll call it the Middle Fork rotation currently. This is going to be in north of Frankfort here, moving toward Russiaville. I don't like to see that at all. Your audio is not coming through. Now it is, so you can now be heard by the audience. Welcome Chandler into the stream, guys. He is in the background watching radar along with me. We'll chime in if he has anything as well. If you guys have damage reports across the state of Indiana, we have an inbox on Facebook. You can send pictures and videos and overall reports too. Feel free to message us via Facebook if you have those, or just want to send us pictures of storms or damage or whatever you guys want to do. Feel free to hop in our messenger and do that. Also, feel free to comment on any of our posts on Facebook as well. We see those as well. Zooming out here, down closer to southern Indiana, still no warnings in effect. Even these storms in here down by Vermilion County and Rockville areas, I am not seeing anything severe here. I will say there could be a pocket of some gusty winds heading into Rockville at the current moment. No warning on it here in the current time, but they may slap it on there. Further south here across South Illinois, that's where Caleb is, as well as Parker. We have Caleb's feed now joining us. We'll take him full to get a location on him very quickly, very briefly. Let's go ahead and pull him up full. He is going to be Odin, Illinois. He's going to be teamed up with Parker, and they are chasing back into Indiana here as the night goes on. Taking a peek back here at the radar. Going to take a look at Illinois. This is a line. Terre Haute on deck for some pretty nasty storms. No warnings yet, though. Keep that in mind. Prairie Creek, Sullivan on deck as well. Now down here by Vincennes, all the way down south to Evansville, Mount Carmel, Princeton, Jasper, Washington areas, you guys have quite a long way to go before these storms reach you. And as I mentioned before, these storms in Illinois are baseline warned. That means they're not considerable. They're not really showing signs of anything aside from gusty winds and maybe some weak rotation at times as well. New warning incoming now. This is going to be for the northern Indiana area, Cass, Miami counties. I am lagging very hard. You still have me, Chandler?
Yeah, I still got you.
Okay. I have lost everything on the streaming side, so I hope that we're still broadcasting here.
Are you on YouTube too, or just Facebook?
Facebook, YouTube, and X. I cannot see chat, and I just lost our channel, so I have no idea if we're still live or not. But if we are, we're going to continue anyway. Checking out the latest warning in effect. They just issued this. For Cass, Miami County, it's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds. There is a tag on this storm as well for a possible tornado. I am lagging very hard. Okay, a lot of you guys saying that you can still hear me but cannot see the stream. It lagged. So what we're going to do...
It's showing on my end, Ryan.
Is it frozen or is it just audio?
Your camera is frozen, but it looks like everything else was working.
All right. Bear with us, guys. This is new. I try to restart this.
Yeah, the stream is frozen on Facebook completely.
Okay. Stand by, Chandler. I'll be right back. All right, looks like we are back for now. Let me know if you can hear me okay. We'll try it again. We should be back live. You're back now. All right, perfect. All right, let's go. I'm going to try this one more time. I'm pretty sure I know what the issue is, but I'm going to still try it one more time just because I don't want to lose Chandler back here. Let's try it again. If we freeze again, we know what the issue is. All right. Taking a peek back down here at the most prominent warnings, and we are going to be down in this. Okay, this is an area to watch very closely by Mechanicsburg. This is going to be some rotation coming together a bit better. This is going to be crossing State Route 39 about a minute or two, if not already crossing, heading up toward Kirkland. We don't want to see the reds and the greens come together like this. That is what we don't want to see. And where the reds are kind of divoting into the greens, that is an area where we could see something try to tighten up and spin up there here on the Mechanicsburg cell. Latest scan does weaken that just a bit. That's good news. Checking up here by Russiaville. That area has since subsided. Still a little bit of rotation up there. But we're not seeing as strong rotation as what we saw earlier. This line all the way down here toward Ladoga, Jamestown, Advance, Hazelrig, and Thorntown could be producing wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour all the way up to Frankfort. Radar indicated winds here. They're not confirmed to my knowledge at this point. The warning is radar indicated, so again, not observed or confirmed winds. Still take it seriously. That new warning we were going to cover before we froze, we should still be good. New warning was for Logansport, Peru, Walton, Bunker Hill, Santa Fe, and Peoria areas, all the way down toward Galveston. 60 mile per hour winds and a tornado possible. This warning's in effect for 40 more minutes. And we are seeing Southern Cass, southwestern Miami County, and this is radar indicated as well, so not observed. There is a tag on there for a possible tornado. These cells further north across Huntington, Fort Wayne area, they are currently not severe. If they do become severe, it may be for hail. I'm going to check out the hail tracker on these, and they don't show much of anything. So I would expect these storms up here in the northern half of Indiana to be quite weak in nature. Our main concern is with this line that's from Logansport all the way back down into Illinois and Missouri. I think the focus here remains on that tornado warning. A lot of divots in here. Ironically, there's a town or an area here called Cyclone. And it does look like it's on a little bit of a couplet there, a little bit of an indentation of that radar. We see these, we call them dog legs. What I mean by that is this little bump out here. We could see air try to rush in here, and it kind of rotates on itself. So that is ironically right by the town of Cyclone. So we'll have to watch that carefully as well. This line could do very similar stuff throughout the night tonight. We have a couple of these dogleg areas, not as tight, but still seeing it like right down here, for example, as well as down here just north of New Brunswick. So a few instances of those
new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
A couple instances of those dog legs are going to be possible today. That's all I'm seeing with that line. New considerable warning now incoming. We expected this to occur. This is Southwest Indiana, Greencastle, Brazil, Terre Haute, Clay City, Jasonville, Sullivan, Prairieton, as well as Graysville. A very large warning here with multiple counties. It is going to be 70 miles per hour observed. 70 mile per hour winds observed now moving into the counties. There's a lot of them. So bear with me. Vigo County, Sullivan County, Clay County, Western Owen, Southern Park, Northwestern Greene, Southwestern Vermilion, Southwestern Putnam County until 11 p.m. Eastern Time. These are confirmed 70 mile per hour winds. They have the observed tab on it, and they also have the tag on there as well that a tornado is possible with this line, as is most of the line segments tonight in the state of Indiana. Looking at this line, the velocity on this, the wind speeds, it's very hard to depict just what's happening here because we're kind of between all sorts of radars. We don't have a really close look at things, so we're going to treat it as such. I do know that they do have a confirmation that 70 mile per hour winds are occurring with this storm. So that's going to be moving toward Terre Haute very quickly. Brazil, Prairie Creek, and Sullivan areas are on deck all the way out here toward Linton, Jasonville, Clay City, Greencastle, and Cloverdale a little bit later on in the hour here. Current time, 10:08 p.m. Thanks for joining us. I am Ryan here alongside Chandler. I'm not sure if Chandler's camera's on. I'm going to test it real quick. He is on. Welcome, Chandler, below me there. We are live currently in Indiana for severe coverage. We'll be live as long as we see substantial risks here. We'll hop off at some point, but right now that is not the time to do that. Looking at the rotation back up here on that tornado warning by Kirkland, still not seeing anything overly tight. There's a couple areas there to watch, but not seeing anything try to spin up tight at this current time. That's really good news. Debris tracker also shows nothing that I see on the ground at this current time. So right now looking A-OK at the current time. Up here toward Logansport, we have Walton, Galveston, and Kokomo areas on deck for some gusty winds, perhaps damaging winds. These warnings for both these yellow polygons are going to be just for 60 mile per hour winds. There is no tag on, I take that back. The northern part of this warning does have a tag on it for a tornado possible for Walton, Bunker Hill, Galveston, Peru. The southern part here for Kokomo, Greentown area does not have that tag on it. The rotation on this, both cells really do not warrant immediate concern that I see at the current time. But again, things can happen and change very quickly with these squall lines. So the good news, though, we have something going for us, and that is the later we go, the less and less fuel for these storms there is. So we don't expect this risk to last all night. It will likely wind down and gradually tamper down here as we move through the evening into the Tuesday morning hours after midnight. Do me a favor, guys. I don't really ask for this too often, but if you're over on the Facebook side of things, please hit the like button. The like button does send out the stream to people's algorithms that may not be aware of the threat today or may not know that we do live coverage. So if you can hit that like button for me, it goes a long way in Indiana to reach more people with potential life-saving information. All right, let's go south-north now. We have a couple cells popping up out ahead near Bicknell, Sullivan areas. Those should not be severe, but they may contain small hail and lightning. The main concern isn't even these storms out here in Salem, Seymour, and Columbus areas. The main line is now from roughly Logansport all the way down into Illinois, all the way down to Missouri, even into Arkansas. This is a very long line. So this stuff out ahead of this, while an isolated storm could be severe within that mess of stuff, I don't think it's going to be much of anything to worry about. Same thing applies up here in northern Indiana for these storms up by the Fort Wayne, Huntington areas. Small hail, lightning possible, not seeing anything substantial with that. Now, this line from Logansport all the way down to Terre Haute and will eventually be extending to Vincennes and Evansville is going to be the main concern. With that line, damaging wind is your primary risk. And within this line, we could see little kinks, we call them, doglegs or kinks, that may try to spin up a tornado or two as the evening goes on. But overall risk for widespread tornadoes appears to be unlikely tonight. So rest easy for that fact. I don't think we're going to see widespread tornadoes tonight at all, but one or two in the state, definitely a possibility here as we move into toward the midnight hours. The Evansville radar does show that the storms approaching from Illinois do have a couple areas of intense winds. This is just east of Louisville, Illinois, Clay City, Illinois, moving toward Olney, Illinois. And that's still about 2 counties away from Vincennes. But with this storm moving at, we'll go ahead and track this out here, moving east at 75 miles per hour. That is insane. All these warnings for that. This one says east at 45. What does the tornado warning say? East at 60s. Let's go ahead and put 60 miles per hour on a storm track of this. We'll go ahead and track this out for you guys. We're going to go this area by Clay City, Illinois to Vincennes at a 60 mile per hour rate. We're going to see an arrival in Vincennes in about 50 minutes, give or take a couple minutes. About 50 minutes. So right around 11 o'clock or so in Vincennes area, Mount Carmel, as well as Sullivan areas. You guys will be up first for this line still in Illinois. So take that with a grain of salt. That is when your risk will likely ramp up here. Back up here to the tornado warning. They have not issued a downstream warning just yet. Let's check out the rotation on this. Still not seeing anything that warrants... Oh. Stand by. Copy that, Corey. If you want to turn on your camera, we were using the video side. Just let me know when it's on. Thank you. All right, that's Corey. He is heading west. Again, not seeing anything substantial to this rotation, which is good news, but still wind is definitely a possibility as this moves toward Kempton, Sheridan, Zionsville area. If you're in the north side of Indy Metro, Fishers, Noblesville, Carmel, Westfield, Zionsville, Whitestown neighborhoods, this line is moving your way as well. And it could be substantial with the winds. So keep that in mind. The airport radar, Chandler, here off the TIDS radar. The winds on the Illinois side of things by, actually this is Indiana, by Brazil, Tecumseh, Rosedale, and Bridgeton areas, upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour here in these blue pockets. And that is only 2,000, roughly 2,000 feet off of the ground. So these storms may be packing a punch down here in the Terre Haute, Sealyville, Brazil, Prairieton, and Prairie Creek areas. Again, if you guys have any damage reports across the state tonight, feel free to message us on Facebook. We are always looking for a confirmation of storm damage. We can relay that. We have direct communication with the Weather Service. So if you guys report something like a tree coming down, or if you have a weather station that measures the wind gust, and you send it to us, we can relay that to the Weather Service, and we could also get warnings issued for storms that may not have warnings. So you guys and your reports do help in the warning process, and you guys play a big part of that.
Did they just up that warning? Is that what just came in?
I believe there's a new warning that came in. If there is an upgrade, there should be a custom tone for that, Chandler. It should say this warning has been upgraded.
I don't see anything on our back-end tool here with our graphics on it. It just shows a new one.
Okay, so scroll down to the latest. You're going to find the base severe is the new one. The software you're using there, it always pushes the highest alert to the top, and the new alerts at their base will go below those higher alerts. So you're going to scroll down and find the first base warning. That's going to be your newest warning.
Gotcha.
So that warning that Chandler is talking about there is going to be for the counties of Boone, Hamilton, Hancock, Hendricks, and Madison counties. So basically North Metro here from Meridian Hills, Rocky Ripple, Claremont, Brownsburg, Fortville, and McCordsville, all the way up to Noblesville and Clarksville. This is a baseline warning of 1-inch hail as well as 60 mile per hour winds. They did not include excuse me, did not include the tag for anything tornadic on this cell, so that's good news at least. I do think we'll likely get another warning for the cell or for the line further to the west here that may produce stronger wind gusts, but right now the winds on this line appear to be weakening, which is what we expected to happen. Right now, the strongest of those winds over Blakesburg and Carpentersville, moving toward Groveland and New Maysville, and eventually toward Danville. No warning on that side of the line right now, but if that strengthens or if we get a confirmation out of you guys that severe winds are happening, the Weather Service may in fact issue a warning there for those areas. The tornado warning officially has been allowed to expire, so we are back to a considerable severe warning for the highest alert in the state. If you don't know, severe warnings have 3 levels. The baseline severe is for 60 mile per hour winds and up to ping pong ball size hail. Then we have the considerable warning that comes into effect when the winds are 70 mile per hour or greater, or we have golf ball size hail or larger. And then the level 3 is a destructive severe, and that is for winds over 80 miles per hour and hail over the size of a baseball or larger. And then there is also another tag that we found out today called EDS, an extremely dangerous situation. They can add on to a destructive severe warning for wind gusts that may exceed 90 or 100 miles per hour winds. But luckily, right now and for the foreseeable future, we don't see that being the case here in Indiana. Especially tonight with these storms. These should just be considerable, maybe a destructive if a storm decides to go rogue on us, but right now I think base and considerable tags are likely with the current event of things. Rotation along this line appears to be quite weak in nature. Still, I do not see much that warrants mention of that. If you're in Kokomo, likely getting pounded by a lot of wind, Sharpsville is on deck, Tipton you're on deck, Atlanta, Sheridan on deck as well. North side by Peru, Logansport just got out of that wind. Peru, Bunker Hill, New Santa Fe, and Santa Fe, as well as Peoria. And what on earth is that name? Wapikong? Wapikong? I have never seen that town name in my life. You guys are on deck here also for potential gusty winds. All right, current time is 10:19 p.m. Eastern, 9:19 p.m. Central Time. I am Ryan. I'm alongside Chandler below me. We'll be live here as long as there is a substantial risk in the state. I do think eventually we're going to start seeing a trend to go on this downtrend here as the later we get, which is great news overall. But for the time being, the threat does continue. Zoom out here, we're going to see the state has been engulfed, not just now, but also earlier in the day of just numerous rounds of showers and storms. And I think a lot of these rounds really have weakened the atmosphere a lot. And if we didn't get those earlier rounds, we very well may have seen a much higher risk tonight across South and Central Indiana here. So I do think we are still seeing a good risk play out. But it could definitely have been higher had we not seen all of that morning rain. If you're in Sullivan, I'm noticing here. Got chasers in my ear. Listen to my chasers here. All right, so Sullivan, Shelburne, Farmersburg, all on deck here. Looking at the velocity, these winds may be of more significance here along US 41 for those areas. So be mindful of that. This is moving to the east here toward Baker, Colmont, Jasonville, Vicksburg, Duggar, Cass. Those general regions here. So we'll keep an eye on that. The considerable warning continues for several counties here, from Greencastle on down to Sullivan and anywhere between those areas. If you guys live in these areas, let us know what you're seeing here in chat. We'll be happy to take your reports. And as always, feel free to message the page with damage or anything storm-related picture or video-wise. We are happy to receive those. Taking a peek at our chasers who are currently out. Corey, did you say your cam was live? Copy that. Stand by, guys. I'm going to pull Corey into here as well, so just bear with me. There we go. We're going to go ahead and pull Corey into the third slot there. We're going to move the good old reflectivity meter over to, yeah, I guess leave it up there. That's fine. Let's check out our chasers, kind of scroll through them as a time being. Let's go ahead and roll through, starting with Evan and Drew. I believe they are out of Indiana, though. We'll go ahead and get a location on them momentarily. They're in Benton, Missouri. They're all the way down in Missouri. That's crazy. Crazy work there, guys. We also have Caleb and Parker. They are in Salem, Illinois. And then we have Corey. Corey is just heading out from his HQ on the east side of Indiana. And he is currently on in Lynn, Indiana, for reference, over on the east side there. So we'll have a couple chaser feeds out tonight. What in the world is Drew doing? Top right. That's crazy.
Or they just chase over?
I have no idea what they're doing. I think he was dancing for us, though. Our chasers like to have fun.
They're where?
Benton, Missouri. All right, back here to the radar here in Indiana. Kokomo just got blasted by likely some pretty strong winds. If you're in Kokomo, let us know what you got. Greentown, Sims, to College Corner, Somerset, Lafountain, LaFontaine, whatever you guys pronounce it as, Marion, Gas City, Fairmount, Summitville, Alexandria on deck. There is no warning yet for Marion, Gas City areas, but likely will have one issued here. I couldn't have timed that more perfect. There's your warning coming in for Grant, Huntington, Miami, Wabash. 11 p.m. expiration time on that. It is a 60-mile-per-hour wind warning with a tag on it for a possible tornado. You could not time that more perfectly. Marion, Lancaster, all the way up toward Wabash, Lincolnville, LaFountain, LaFontaine, Somerset, Jalapa, Sweetser, Hackleman, Fairmount, Fowlerton, I-69 to Van Buren, about to Warren, all the way down toward Upland and Matthews area. Again, that expires at 11 p.m. and it's for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and then a tag on there for a possible tornado. This line still is not warned for that gap between, we're going to say, Jamestown and Greencastle. The wind on there looks to be pretty significant, though. So if you're in North Salem, ahead of this in Pittsboro, Brownsburg areas, even though there's no warning, there are pockets showing up close to 70-mile-per-hour winds. Sorry, 60-mile-per-hour winds in these pockets here over I-74. I'm a little shocked they're not putting a warning on that. Just a little shocked. Back down to the south, Terre Haute is now on the backside. And the good news, guys, if you're on the backside of this storm, you're all clear. So Lafayette, you guys have some rain, some lightning around, but the worst of it's over. Go to bed. Crawfordsville, same thing for you. Danville, Illinois, Covington, Newport, Rockville, Clinton, about to be Terre Haute, all up to Rensselaer, Winnemac, LaPorte, Crown Point, Gary. Go to bed. There ain't nothing for you guys here to stay up and wait for. If you're ahead of this line, out ahead here in the eastern and southern part of the state, you guys all have that risk yet to come. If you're in this white box here, your risk is yet to come. If you're outside it over here, you guys are good to go to bed. I'll put a smiley face over here. Go to bed. If you're over in this box, unfortunately, you have a risk yet. We have severe warnings now to the state line, so Vincennes on deck, Princeton as well. I know we timed this out a bit ago. We talked about Vincennes around that 11 o'clock hour. Got Joel in my ear.
A new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been
And a new warning coming in as well. Looks like Joel's reporting damage at their location. New warning incoming now. We'll talk about that in just a brief second. But again, down here in southwest Indiana, by the Vincennes area, your threat is likely going to ramp up here in about a half hour, give or take a couple of minutes. New considerable warning now incoming for downtown Indianapolis. And that does include the area we just talked about that has those gusty pockets of wind. So if you are in downtown Indianapolis, doesn't matter if you're on the north side, south side, from Southport, West Newton to Acton, up toward Fishers, Augusta, Meridian Hills, all the way up to Indian Lake and McCordsville, the warning here is for 70-mile-per-hour winds. They did not include the tag on here for a tornado possible. So just strictly a wind threat at the current time. The airport radar has gust likely near severe criteria here, 55 or so miles per hour, moving into Broad Park, Stylesville, Ammo, Clayton areas in the next couple of minutes. Also up here by Brownsburg, Pittsboro, Montclair, and North Salem, heading in toward Danville, Tilden, and Brownsburg areas, is also a pocket or two of severe wind to monitor. Back further north here, let's go north to south once again, take the North Indiana radar. If you are in very far northern Indiana with just all this yellow and green rain, no severe up there for you guys, and that is great news for you. Further south here, Fort Wayne area, you guys are likely going to look out tonight. This line is progressing mainly to the east. It is going a little bit to the north here, so in Fort Wayne, don't let your guard down just yet. But I do think this line is going to move more so east than it will to the north. But again, south side of Fort Wayne especially, be mindful of that. Excuse me. Let's go south here. That new warning we just talked about for Marion is now in effect. Tornado possible, but your main hazard is a 60-mile-per-hour wind. I would expect additional warnings to come in here shortly for Anderson, Summitville areas, but we are getting some pop-ups out ahead of this line. These pop-ups out ahead are not going to be severe. The line will carry your best chance for severe wind in a potential tornado. The wind with this still looks to be quite significant in nature. Most of these warnings down here by Tipton down toward the Indianapolis area are for considerable winds of 70 miles per hour or greater. Let's go south. We just talked about this new warning here. Brownsburg, Pittsboro, Danville areas, Stylesville, Bell Union, Fillmore, Mount Meridian, all getting blasted by what appears to be close to, if not over, severe winds. And then obviously what's coming further south here into southwest Indiana, still moving into the state. It's got about a county or two left to go. In the meantime, we are still seeing 60-mile-per-hour winds on this line. A lot of these warnings continue to be baseline, so 60-mile-per-hour winds. But there is now a tornado warning in effect almost to the state line here toward Vincennes. This is going to be radar indicated rotation. And there's one of those dog legs we talk about. Those dog legs are interesting to watch just north of Mount Erie where this thing sticks out. This is going to be what we call a dog leg or a notch. Air flows in this way and this comes out that way. It's rotation at its finest. Let's check out the rotation on that, and there you go. It's hard to tell there, but obviously there's some rotation there. Luckily, though, it's got a bit to go before it enters. It's got 2 counties worth to pass through, but it is moving toward the Vincennes area or around that region, so be mindful of that. We'll track that as it progresses to the east. Overall, a lot going on here. Nothing that screams tornado imminent, if anybody's wondering. Here in chat, I do see quite a bit of heavy rain, small hail, and a lot of wind out there, but nothing currently screams tornadic to me. The closest thing that I would see is probably that cell heading toward Vincennes, and right now, again, that's not imminent in Indiana. So for the time being, we're going to kind of relax just for a minute. I do want to keep note, I think the heaviest of winds moving into Bell Union and Broad Park here very shortly toward Little Point and Crown Center, as well as Eminence as well. Otherwise, let's go north here to the north side of this line. We're just seeing mainly a wind threat at this point. Marion on deck here in about 20 minutes. In fact, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a tracking tool. I like doing this. I like playing with my tools here. We're going to storm track this off toward Marion at 48 miles per hour. We're going to see Marion arrival in 14 minutes. If you're in downtown Marion, your storm will arrive in probably closer to 10 minutes, if I had to guess. So keep that in mind. Tipton, Indiana, getting impacted here shortly. Elwood, Frankton, Alexandria, Summitville also on deck. Noblesville, Fishers, Carmel, Meridian Hills on deck as well. Indianapolis Metro remains underneath the considerable severe warning for 70-mile-per-hour winds. Again, we're tracking a couple areas. I want to keep an eye down here. It looks like there could be a little bit of a notch forming on the radar here. We're going to watch that very carefully. Nothing on velocity screams anything yet. Worth watching there. Let's take a look at the airport radar. The airport radar has a notch there for sure. I'll have to keep an eye on that there. Anytime we see a little bit of a notch out in front of that line, that warrants attention for sure. The warning here in Indianapolis Metro expires in 1 hour. Includes northern Morgan, northern Johnson, Hendricks, Marion, eastern Putnam counties until 11:30 p.m. The only hazard is 70-mile-per-hour winds, and they did actually add the quarter-size hail to this one as well, but there is no possible tornado tag on this, so just a wind risk here. The brighter green colors do indicate the heavier winds. You can see moving into Broad Park right now, as well as Stylesville along U.S. Highway 40 and Interstate 70. Really where the heaviest winds are, right between 70 and 40 there, riding up toward Crown Center and Hazelwood, as well as Monrovia. Any damage pictures in comment sections or messenger there, Chandler?
Some from earlier today, but nothing from this round of storms from tonight.
Okay, copy that. It's good news so far. Yeah, there is a notch forming here on that little indentation. You can kind of tell the winds are increasing there. In fact, if I hover over this, there's a 71 pocket, a pocket of 71 mile per hour winds just north of Board Park and Broad Park. Let's go ahead and zoom out on this. It's going to be over South County Road 1000 East. I would not be shocked if they pull a trigger on a tornado warning for that particular area. It is still broad in nature, but the indications here do concern me for that little notching there right here heading towards Stylesville. New update on the radar. A little bit of a notching continues there. I have to see the new reflectivity scan as well to kind of match it up here. We'll wait for that to come in just a minute or two, but there could be something trying to develop in there. If that continues, again, would not be shocked to see an upgrade here to a tornado warning. But right now, we'll see what the next scan looks like. Regardless of anything rotating, it still holds value of very strong straight line winds. So out ahead of this, Clayton, Hazelwood, Almond, Mooresville, Monrovia, Hall areas. Crown Center also, it's going to follow very closely between US 40 and Interstate 70 and eventually in toward Mooresville, and if it continues on its trek, into the southern Indianapolis metro region. Yeah, there's your storm relative. It's got a little bit of something there. We're looking at this area down here just south of Stylesville. It's about to cross Tudor Road as well as South County Road 550 West. We'll watch that. Northern part of the line, let's go back north to south, kind of take a peek at everything. Wabash on deck. Marion, you got about probably 7 to 10 minutes still. That track is still on my screen. I can delete that at any point. Let me pull that back up and delete that.
A new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
New warning now, considerable. It's going to be for South Indiana. I'll go ahead and take a peek at that here in just a brief second. So many alerts flying in, but let's go ahead and check out our velocity and our radar up here first, just to make sure we're not going to miss anything. Like I said, Marion on deck, Fairmount, Gas City, Upland, Summitville, Alexandria, all on deck here. Rotation within this line does not appear to be anything worth concerning yourself over for the time being. Down here in Indianapolis Metro, let's take a peek at the radar here. Still not seeing anything of note. Just gusty winds continuing toward Elwood, Frankton, Anderson, Lapel, Clarksville area. Obviously, we're watching this area heading into Indianapolis Metro. I do believe this is probably the most significant of what's happening currently in the state. This is going to be an area of straight line winds and some weak rotation being denoted here as well, primarily just south and now just east of Stylesville between US 40 and Interstate 70. That new considerable warning now incoming, I believe it's for the Vincennes area, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to figure out what that was issued for.
You got it.
Perfect. So Vincennes, Washington, Lagodi, Odin, Bloomfield, as well as Linton, Freelandville, Bicknell, Plainville, Busserin, Monroe City, all the way down towards St. Thomas. Considerable severe for 70-mile-per-hour winds, and the tag is on there for a possible tornado. They did issue this well ahead of the line. You guys probably have, I'm going to estimate, between 15 to 30 minutes before impact here in the Vincennes area. So you guys got some time to react. Looking at the velocity, the wind's definitely strong over the Sumner areas. There is some weak rotation in there as well, but nothing really overly tight just yet. We want to see those little notches that try to form and develop, and right now not seeing much of anything with that. Down further south, this line is also approaching the very far southwest corner of our state. About a county left to go. Let's go ahead and time this out for Princeton. Let's go ahead and pop open the storm track on this and get a track directly into Princeton. It's telling me it's going to arrive in Princeton in roughly 52 minutes. So you guys have roughly about 45 minutes to an hour to prepare yourselves down here at Oakland City and Princeton areas. Back up here to that area we're watching near Stylesville. I want to check out the velocity on that. Still appears to be primarily a straight line wind risk. I do see there's a bit of a notching there, more of a wind risk though. That is a pixel of 74-mile-per-hour winds there over. This is going to be Hendricks County Road 1200 North and South County Road 425 West. New severe coming in now up further to the north. It's going to be out ahead toward Muncie and Newcastle areas. We'll go ahead and take a look at these. This is going to be a base severe warning. They went ahead and went just 60, plain old 60-mile-per-hour winds. No other hazard. No tornado possible. No hail risk with this one. Just pure wind. Again, Muncie area, Mount Summit, Newcastle, Anderson, Daleville, Yorktown, Eaton, Summitville, Alexandria areas. The counties on this are going to be, a lot of them, Madison, Northern Hancock, Delaware, Northern Henry, Northern Marion, Hamilton, Eastern Tipton until 11:30 p.m. And as mentioned, wind up to 60 miles per hour is your only concern there. Any damage or any pictures or videos of storms tonight, feel free to direct message us on Facebook or comment on one of our posts. Not the live stream. We cannot see pictures or videos on this live stream, unfortunately. Any other posts, though, feel free to drop a comment or a picture or video in the chat. If you're just tuning in, my name is Ryan. I'm joined alongside Chandler. Also chasing, we have Corey, Caleb, and Evan and Drew, as well as Parker, all out there across Illinois, Indiana, and if you're in the case of Evan and Drew, in Missouri. We'll have chasers out ahead of this line as well as it progresses to the east, and they'll report back what they hear as it does so. In the meantime, you guys who are watching can be, and sometimes are, our eyes and ears. So if you have reports, feel free to drop it in chat, and as mentioned just previously, send a picture or video into our messenger on Facebook. If you guys do not... Oh.
View out of there.
What?
Said you should take Caleb's view out of there. It's just blank box for fun.
Hey, Caleb, are you going to turn your video back on, or are you done? Copy that. Thank you. So Caleb and Parker are done. The line of storms outran them, which is sometimes the case when you chase. Sometimes the storms just move too fast. So we'll go ahead and take them off the screen here. Go ahead and throw Corey up on the middle right for right now. Go ahead and take Caleb off. That should fix it. Of course it didn't fix it. That'd be too easy. There we go. Software is on the newer side for us. It actually just got released today, so I'm still learning it. Bear with me, but we got it figured out. All right, so update here. Winds approaching the terminal radar here in Joppa along 70 here at the airport. We have winds that are severe criteria, if not over severe criteria in spots, from State Route 42 heading into Monrovia. It's going to follow along State Route 39, Center Valley, Hazelwood getting impacted right now, Gasburg, Bunker Hill, Allman, Joppa, all the way up to Plainfield. These bright greens and blues do have 60-mile-per-hour winds in them. So keep that in mind. These are approaching the radar. The reason I am so confident in this, producing these winds, is because the radar is literally right here, and the beam height on this is basically on the ground. 50 feet is your radar beam height. So 50 feet above the ground, these winds are at severe criteria, hence why I am confident that these are reaching the ground. So if you're in Monrovia, you guys have roughly 60-mile-per-hour winds, if not a bit higher, moving into town there, so be mindful of that. We could see Hazelwood, Center Valley, all the way up here to Belleville areas, North Belleville, Cartersburg, Summit, eventually moving toward Plainfield, Joppa, Allman, Gasburg, and Bunker Hill. That looks to be the most concerning area currently. And the airport radar is depicting that, as well as the Indianapolis radar. Let's go north again. Go north to south. Make sure we're not going to miss anything rotation-wise or anything significant happening. Still not seeing anything up here in the northern half that screams. Copy. Talking to chasers behind the scenes here who are reeling information in about damage. Overall, though, not seeing anything with that line, but Huntington is on deck here. No warning for Huntington at this current time. Bluffton, Montpelier, Hartford areas will be on deck as well. I do not know if they'll extend this warning downstream or not. It does look like it has lost a bit of its punch. I would not be shocked if they continue that, so don't be shocked here to see a warning incoming for Hartford, Montpelier, Bluffton areas. The overall, though, not seeing rotation, just primarily a wind risk with that, and maybe some small hail embedded in there. Further south, warnings continue for Muncie, Anderson, Pendleton, Newcastle areas for 60-mile-per-hour winds. The rotation on this area does not appear to be strong at all. In fact, I don't see anything rotating at this point. I think that northern part of the line is just strictly just wind. Pocket of intense winds now moving in toward the airport radar. In fact, it's pretty much over the radar here in Joppa. So we'll see what that measures, if anything, here in the coming minutes. But if you live in the south and west corner of the Indianapolis metro region, from Canby, Friendswood, Mooresville area, all the way down toward Brookmore, up toward 6 Points in Plainfield, this line is looking like it's producing severe level winds as it does so. Further south, blanketed warnings continue. Vincennes, probably about 15 more minutes for you guys. Again, looking like 11 o'clock was a good track on that storm we did about half hour ago. Rotation with this still appears to be quite minimal in nature. I don't see anything holding hands, as Caleb calls it, or trying to tighten up at this point, but it does have that shear line look of those reds and greens coming together. And if those twist up together, we could see something try to spin up there, but right now not seeing that being an imminent threat at all. New warning now again coming for a large area. They're going to go ahead and go for the Bloomington. This is a large warning. Let's go ahead and read this off first. The hazard with this warning is for hail up to quarter size and winds around 60 miles per hour. The text of this Monroe County, Morgan County, Brown County, Johnson County, Owen County, Greene County, and South Central Putnam County until 11:45 p.m. Eastern. This is moving east at 55 miles per hour, and the threat is wind up to 60 and hail up to quarter.
A new tornado watch has been issued.
I don't know what that's for, but it has to be somewhere in the state of Indiana for that to go off. Gibson, Pike, Posey, Spencer, Vanderburgh, and Warwick counties until 6 a.m. What they're basically saying is this line further south, all the way down here, even into Missouri, is likely going to push to the east as the night goes on. So we're going to look for a threat for anything tornadic to continue. But primarily, we're still concerned for this line, as you see on your radar, which is moving in through that area, general area here in general direction. So likely will be canceled well before 6 a.m. But what you see on your screen is what we're going to be tracking here with this cell. Been live here for about an hour. Probably be live for another hour at least. Although I will say what's popping out ahead of this is actually a good thing because it's sucking all of the instability out of the atmosphere. All of those pop-up storms have lightning, have small hail. None are severe. But what juice is left for this line coming into the area is being competed and sucked out by these storms. So that's really good news. I like to see that. That should lower our threat overall. The threat, I think, is still highest across the western portions of the state. Back up here to that area. Excuse me. Moving up toward Indianapolis International Airport. Winds still upwards of 60 miles per hour. Moving into the region. So if you're in South Indy Metro or Indy Downtown Metro, you guys have likely severe level winds moving in here. It's going to likely move very close to downtown, probably just south along 465 from Maple Ridge, the Sunshine Gardens, Glens Valley, Rosedale Hills, Southport neighborhoods. Back to the north here. Would not be shocked to see a new warning coming in for the Hartford, Bluffton, and perhaps Huntington areas. In Indiana, I do not see much of anything that warrants rotation mention at this current time. It just appears to be primarily a straight line wind risk. Now, here's something interesting. Coming out of the airport radar here, there are pixels that are over severe criteria. There's 62 miles per hour basically on the surface heading into Mooresville. So if you're in Mooresville, Young, down here toward Heartland Crossing, Golf Links, Miller, Landers, Dale, Weiser, West Newton, and Friendswood areas, likely very strong winds coming your direction. Current time is 10:50 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:50 p.m. Central Time. Alerts galore, flood advisories, flash flood warnings, severe warnings, tornado warnings, everything. We have the whole spectrum, the whole rainbow of alerts tonight here in the state. Luckily right now for severe, we have mostly, I'm not going to say a subdued risk because that's not the right word I'm trying to get across here, but I do think the overall threat is becoming a bit more disorganized as time goes on, which I like to see. Another advisory coming in, flood advisory there. So again, we talked about this morning. If you guys don't watch our YouTube channel, we put out daily videos. We also talked about on our live briefings this morning. We do expect there to be a lot of rain tonight, which could lead to flash flooding, and we are seeing that come to fruition here with all these rounds of showers and storms. So with that being said, do expect there to be instances of flooding out there in localized to scattered areas. All right, let's go back south, work our way north. Tornado warnings continue across the border in Illinois. Let's check out the rotation on this. Still not seeing anything that rotates, or should I say warrants mention of anything tight. This is just what we call a shear line. Goodness gracious, how many advisories are going to issue? So, for us to be more concerned about tornadoes, we want to see the brighter reds and brighter greens kind of meet together and kind of couple. Right now, they're just kind of going parallel to each other. Not much there to warrant mention of. So right now, immediate concern for Vincennes is straight line winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Cannot rule out a tornado, but right now appears to be quite a low threat. Further north, up here toward Linton, Bloomfield, Worthington, Freedom, and Spencer areas, same thing applies. Not seeing anything rotation-wise, but likely some strong winds do continue.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
I was wondering if that was going to be the case here. I was watching the Indianapolis radar here, and there appears to be a little bit of a couplet there trying to take shape as two storms merge together. So this area of rotation, very broad in nature, but the damaging wind risk definitely here. Just south of Ridgewood, Young, moving toward Weiser, Fox Hill, and 5 Points. This is going to be a tornado warning, radar indicated, so it's not confirmed. We have radars in very close proximity here that can tell us if there is debris being lofted. Let's go ahead and check out our debris tracker at the current time. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick. Not seeing anything there. Good news. In fact, hold on.
Ryan, I don't have any radar image on this tornado warning on our graphic. Is there supposed to be radar with it?
Yes.
I don't.
Stand by. I'll see if I have it. If you click show graphic first, that'll load it up for you, and then from there you can save it.
It's not in here.
Okay. If that's the case, grab it off of the X page. The NWS tornado. Chandler, I have it. I can get it.
You want to get it up?
I got you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. All the other ones have been fine, but this one's just not doing it for whatever reason. I refreshed the page a couple times and it still just can't.
It's all good.
Are you going to put it on both?
Yeah, if you can cross-post that over to IWO, that'd be perfect. All right, so area of interest here is going to be... go ahead and take back the radar here. This area is going to be right here over the Fox Hill neighborhood where the greens and the reds are coming together. There actually may be a debris ball here, Chandler. It's very hard to line up and tell, but this, in fact, I think this is actually might be on the ground here. Very weak signature on velocity, but the debris tracker, we're seeing it line up perfectly on that rotation. If this is being lofted, there is a possible tornado on the ground. It's going to be directly over Neitzel Road as well as Kitchen Road. Neitzel and Kitchen Road, about to cross Turner Road. I'm going to treat this as a tornado on the ground moving toward Fox Hill. This is going to be moving toward North Paddock Road, Wildwood Lake, and North Man Road here shortly. Again, I cannot confirm if this is on the ground, but the rotation lines up pretty well. In fact, I think that actually is. Yeah, that is actually 100% debris ball. This is likely on the ground here. Started back here in the Ridgewood neighborhood. The debris ball does track with the rotation. Likely impacted the Ridgewood neighborhood as it moved off to the east and now is moving toward the Fox Hill neighborhood north of Crestview Heights. This is likely a tornado that is on the ground at the current time. Fox Hill neighborhood is likely being impacted right now as we speak, crossing North Paddock Road. So again, this is likely what appears to be a weak tornado that could be on the ground at the current time, which is 10:55 p.m. Eastern time. This tornado warning is in effect here for this cell. Rotation is still very weak in nature, so it is interesting for sure to have a debris ball to be that weak. But here is your look at the terminal Doppler radar. We can see the rotation directly over the Fox Hill neighborhood. So if you are in that area as well as ahead of this, if it stays on the ground, assuming it is on the ground, it will cross this road here, which is going to be White River, and this road is, I can't tell, I'm not even going to look at it. I-69 coming up very shortly. Smith Valley, Francis, Stones Crossing, Bluff Creek, Spring Hill, Greenwood, and New Whiteland would be in the path of this area here. Again, this is a radar indicated warning, but there likely would be a debris ball. What appears to be a debris ball that did track with this all the way back here toward the Ridgewood neighborhood, moved into Fox Hill where it's currently at, and is about to cross I-69 as we speak. Current time on your screen is going to be 10:56 p.m. So if you're not lined up with us, feel free to refresh the stream and get back lined up with us. Let's check out the debris tracker once more here from the Indianapolis radar. Very hard to tell. It would be right in the Fox Hill neighborhood, literally right now. Again, it's very cluttered and very hard to depict if it's on the ground, but it does appear to follow the rotation, and it does seem to have a very distinct signature here that tells us it was on the ground at some point. I do not see it on the ground on the latest scan on the debris tracker. Let's check out the velocity on this, taking back the airport radar. If it's not a tornado anymore, it's very intense straight line winds, and these winds are over 60 miles per hour. In fact, Chandler, these winds on this storm moving across I-69, 85, in fact, 90 miles per hour at 300 feet. They may pull the trigger on a destructive severe for this if that continues. Again, 90 mile per hour winds about to cross I-69 between the roads of West Stones Crossing and West Fairview Road, right next to Rosita's Mexican restaurant. Looking at the areas here, Bluffdale Drive will be impacted. The winds are now on I-69 between Olive Branch Road and Stones Crossing Road. It's directly over the Bluff Creek Golf Course. These winds are still 80 to 86 miles per hour here, being depicted at 400 feet off the ground. If not a tornado, this is very intense straight line winds that is occurring with this cell. Please take it seriously if you are out ahead of this. If you are out ahead of this storm, underground right now, away from windows, if you don't have a basement, interior room, closet works as well. Francis, Stones Crossing, Greenwood, Southport. Ahead of this area is going to be Rock Lane, Reds Corner, Needham, New Whiteland areas up toward Wildwood Farms. Primarily looking at the Greenwood area for the population center. Critchfield, Stones Crossing, Green Valley, Imperial Hills also in the path of this severe wind and potential tornado. I want to take back the airport radar here. Latest scan coming in, 95 mile per hour winds. This may be a weak tornado on the ground still. I would not discount that at all. This could be a weak tornado on the ground. It's right over Olive Branch Road and Molinix Road, I believe is how you pronounce it. Molinix and Olive Branch Road. Moving into the populated area here. These are likely very intense winds at very least, if not a weak tornado. They have continued the warning here for radar indicated rotation. Again, this is at very least intense straight line winds here with this tornado warning. And again, just crossed I-69, moving into Stones Crossing, Critchfield areas. State Route 135, north-south road here. A crossroad of Stones Crossing, Olive Branch, Foxbury Trace neighborhood, Smith Valley Road. Out ahead of this, Honey Creek Road. You guys have some weird road names down here. Freedom Park, Cutsinger Road, Northville, West Stop 18, and the Greenfield Middle School. Latest scan continues. 80 mile per hour plus winds entering the Smith Valley and Stones Crossing and Waterloo neighborhoods. Small airport here between Olive Branch and Stones Crossing. I don't have a name on this. There it is. It's called Thornfield. Also Eagle Springs and the Center Grove Education Center. Likely very intense winds here. You guys need to be underground for these winds. These are, if there's no tornado with this warning, the winds alone in the straight line fashion are that equivalent of an EF1 tornado as it stands in this pocket of localized winds here. So take it seriously and treat it, even though we may not see a debris ball currently with this storm, we are still seeing intense winds as it moves across this warning area. The reason we're not seeing a good look at it from the Indianapolis radar is because it's basically parallel to the radar. It's not looking at a very good look at it. You can see the indentation here continues for rotation, entering the Critchfield area. Let's check out the debris tracker with this. It's so cluttered, I can't see definitively if it's on the ground or not. I don't see it on the ground. I see a debris ball entering and picking up by Fox Hill. I don't see it put back down though. It's very cluttered though. I could be missing it for sure. I can't tell you one way or the other. So I want to move away from this just for a brief second to cover other areas here, but I do want to continue mentioning that 70 to 80 plus mile per hour winds moving into Stones Crossing, Green Valley areas, New Whiteland and Whiteland areas, Greenwood, the municipal airport there, Homecoming University Park, Rock Lane, and Reds Corners in the path of intense straight line winds that may be over 80 miles per hour. Let's go north quickly and work our way south quickly, checking this out. There is a new warning now for Bluffton, Montpelier, and Hartford. 60 mile per hour winds, possible tornado with that cell. I do not see rotation. Excuse me. Voice is cracking here. Do not see rotation with this cell, but still take it seriously. Be inside, away from windows at very least. Not a bad idea to head to your basement as this storm passes through. Same thing applies down here toward Anderson, Alexandria areas, down toward Fishers. I do not see anything significant happening with rotation, but likely we'll have some stronger winds pushing through the area by Anderson into Middleton, Newcastle, and Muncie here shortly. Obviously, the warning here continues. I'm going to go back to that very quickly. I want to head south very quickly here. Morgantown, Trafalgar, Franklin, Nineveh, Spearsville, Unionville, Ellettsville, Bloomington, all online here for gusty winds. I do not see much in the way of anything rotating on this line further south, but I will tell you guys the wind with this is likely pretty strong in nature as it moves toward Bloomfield, Odin, Bicknell, Washington, and Monroe City. Vincennes just got impacted as well, so Vincennes, you're out of the worst of it. And then taking a look further south as well toward the Evansville, New Harmony, Mount Vernon areas. We still see that line progressing to the state. It's about to enter the portion here by Grayville and Johnson areas. Seeing it as a damaging wind risk. I don't have any warnings yet for this area. They should be issuing those any minute. The brighter greens do indicate stronger winds. Back up here to the tornado warning.
A notch popping here. Yeah, I was just gonna say, take that back. Take a look at that right there, and then just to the north of there is the higher winds.
Yeah, this is likely about to put back down another tornado here, guys. We're seeing the darker reds and the brighter, they're kind of yellowish tan here, but that's rotation. We see a lot of strong winds here. It's probably going to put back down a tornado here on the east side of Greenwood if it's not already putting down something right now.
Just wait until you see
in fact, yeah, this is not good, guys. This is likely going to be on the ground here any minute, or potentially already is on the ground. I do not see debris ball, but if it does put down, this is a very populated area near Greenwood. Not good. Again, if you're in Greenwood, anywhere around Greenwood, out ahead of it toward Rock Lane, along I-65, as well as East Main Street, the Best Western here, very populated center. Waffle House is here, the Red Roof Inn. There is a fun center, the Auto Golf and Family Center there. This is likely heading directly into those areas, and the latest scan does not look good. We see a notch, and the notch indicates rotation. Not a good situation here. So if you're in this red polygon, please be underground and away from windows. If you cannot be underground, where's my, there it is. I'm looking for the radar. It's in front of my face. Goodness gracious. There we go. This is going to be directly over Greenwood. If there's a tornado on the ground right now, it would be in the Green Valley McCarty area, following very closely to the West Smith Valley Road region, about to cross, if not already crossing, US 31 as we speak. Smith Valley Road into the neighborhood here with Grassy Creek. All these black lines here indicate these are populated subdivision areas. A rotation continues directly over 31, which is over Roscoe's Tacos, Egg Roll number 1, the Greenwood Public Library, the amphitheater there, the Suds, and Craig Park. That is where the center of rotation is. And also to the south of this, we can't ignore this area either. Intense straight line winds continue over East Worsville Road and US 31 here, about to cross I-65 at the Auto Golf and Family Fun Center. This is going to continue eastward toward Rock Lane and Reds Corners, and eventually we're getting close to the end of this polygon. If you're downstream in Marion, Shelbyville, Sugar Creek, London, Fairland, and Bogstown, do expect there to be a downstream warning. It could be destructive in nature if they decide to go destructive severe on this. Otherwise, at very least, expect a considerable severe warning, if not a downstream tornado warning.
A new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has
The
been issued.
timing is impeccable. There it is. New considerable warning now incoming for those counties just mentioned. It's a very large one. Extends up to Newcastle, Greenfield, Knightstown, New Palestine, Morristown, Rushville, Richland, Greensburg, Shelbyville, and Marion areas. All the yellow polygon just flashed on your screen. Bartholomew, Decatur, Hancock, Henry, Johnson, Marion, Rush, and Shelby County until midnight Eastern. Back down here to the rotation, we are seeing it's not really strong in nature. It's still there. It's directly just south or perhaps over the airport of Greenwood, still following closely along the Smith Valley Road. It's now almost crossed US 31, about to cross I-65 here. This is going to be moving out of population center, which is great news. Hopefully it's not putting anything down at the current time, but at very least, straight line winds are still upwards of 75 miles per hour at this storm. If there's no tornado, it is still producing intense straight line winds that could be equivalent to that of a weak tornado. Let's check out our debris tracker here to see if anything's on the ground. I'm going to back this up here to kind of track this. We did see a potential correlation coefficient drop that signifies debris could be in the air back toward the Fox Hill and Smith Valley neighborhoods. I do not see anything that warrants attention at this current time. There could have been something there by the Roscoe's Taco area. This is the 3 minute ago scan. Let's go and check that out here real quick. Nah, I don't think so. We'll see, though. I don't think that was on the ground there, but it's very hard to tell with the correlation coefficient because it's very cluttered. Also taking note further south here toward Mount Pleasant and Hopewell areas, another pocket of close to severe winds moving toward the Franklin area. So if you live in Franklin, worth keeping a close eye on that and monitoring and being side away from windows. Head to your basement. Not a bad idea tonight with these storms. Again, further north, the storms continue. Heading into Bluffton right now, Montpelier, Nottingham shortly, over Hartford currently, about to enter Eaton as well as Muncie. Your main hazard up there is going to be damaging wind to 60 miles per hour. Cannot rule out some rotation, but right now appears to be quite weak in nature. So immediate concerns here for anything tornadic is quite low in nature. Fort Wayne Metro, no severe for you guys yet, but there is a line moving in toward Fort Wayne. Copy.
My graphics are just completely broken, so I put the one up for the new considerable warning. If you want to swap it out, go ahead, but mine are just, they're just not loading.
Hey, I mean, that works. It's fine. All right, let's go ahead and north to south here. Fort Wayne, there's no warning here for you guys. The storm heading up here.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
There's your downstream warning. We'll get to that in just a second. That's for this exact same cell we were talking about a little bit ago. Fort Wayne, you guys are okay tonight. I think these are going to stay sub-severe, but don't be shocked to see a couple lightning strikes and some heavier rain moving in about 10 to 15 minutes there for Fort Wayne Metro. Ossian, Bluffton, along State Route 1, State Route 18 here, about to be impacted by some gustier winds. Not seeing anything that stands out rotation-wise. Also down here by Hartford, Eaton areas, heading toward Red Key, Portland, and Bern, Geneva area eventually. So stay on deck there. Muncie area about to be impacted. Middleton, again, damaging wind, your primary concern with this line. Not seeing anything that stands out on the rotation side of things with this area. Further south, we'll come back to the new warning here, so just bear with me. Down here by Mount Pleasant, Franklin, Trafalgar areas, Nineveh, Amity, Bengal, Needham, and Edinburgh areas. This is straight line winds moving into those areas. Franklin is a populated center here, so be inside away from windows. Head to your basement if you possibly can. Further south here toward Ellettsville and Spencer areas, we do have a little bit of rotation trying to pick up there by Ellettsville. We'll watch that. So if you're in Bloomington, worth keeping a close eye on, regardless of the anything rotating there. This pocket of wind is moving up your direction, and it will move into Bloomington here in about, well, say 20 minutes or so or less. Further south here toward Vincennes. Take the Evansville radar here quickly. Bloomfield to Vincennes area, still seeing these winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Looking at anything rotating, I am very shocked. I'm going to go ahead and call it out here. If you live down here in Johnson, Princeton, Fort Branch area, these winds are at severe criteria, literally on the surface, and there's no warning here. So if you live in Johnson, Owensville, up to Lyle Station, McGarry, and Fort Branch area, very strong winds moving in. The radar is right there. The beam is very close to the ground. These are severe level criteria gusts. There's no warning here for this county, so keep that in mind. Further south here toward Mount Vernon and New Harmony, that line is pushing in here shortly. Not seeing anything significant currently with that. And again, no warnings yet. But if you live in the Johnson area, close to Owensville, Cynthia, Fort Branch, and Hubstat, you guys have some likely strong winds heading your direction. Back up here to the main concern is going to be this tornado warning in the Greenwood area. Go ahead and take back to velocity. Seeing pockets on here of, yeah, this is your notch here, guys. Just south of the Rock Lane Road. And when we're looking at here on the radar, we're seeing these winds kind of come out and up, and these winds kind of go down and in. So they kind of meet and they kind of couple together, and that creates your spin and your rotation. It's a very, very prominent and very classic look here at some rotation. So it's going to be centered basically over Worsville Road, Franklin Road, just south of Rock Lane Road. Taking back the airport radar, we do have a good look at it still off the airport radar. The pocket of straight line winds continues heading in toward Red's Corner here. We're about to lose the radar though, so I think the Indianapolis radar is our best bet. Outside of that though, anything rotating, we still see intense straight line winds moving into Red's Corner, Acton, and eventually here is going to cross I-74, Sugar Creek, London, Bogstown, Fairland, and Clover Village here in about 10 minutes. So be underground and away from windows if you possibly can.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
We'll get to that in just a second. This new warning, or the second to newest warning here, the one on your screen currently, extends to Fountaintown, Morristown, Gwynville, Freeport, and Marion areas. This is going to be in effect until 11:45 p.m. Eastern for northern Shelby, south central Hancock, northeastern Johnson, and southeastern Marion. It is radar indicated rotation, and it's moving east at 60 miles per hour. New warning, we just called out the Ellettsville area about 5 minutes ago, and bam, there is your warning for some rotation. Warning here is for radar indicated rotation, expires in 32 minutes. The warning is for central Monroe County, southeastern Owen County, and northeastern Greene County until 11:45. Again, radar indicated rotation. This is going to include downtown Bloomington. So if you're in B-Town there, you guys need to be underground right now if you can. No basement. Look for your interior closet. If you don't have a closet, look for a hallway or interior room that is away from windows. The center part of your house, put as many walls as you can between you and the outside as possible. This area of rotation may be better looked at here, and there it is. There is your area of rotation. It's going to be directly over or close to the Green Bluffs Nature Preserve in the, I can't get a Freegan or Freeland area, Freedom, I don't know what that says. The arrow's covering up that that town there, but Whitehall, McVille, Hendricksville area, as well as Ellettsville, and then in the Bloomington, especially north side of Bloomington areas, need to be alert. If this tightens any further, this may be heading into a very large populated center here in the next couple of minutes, so be very wary of that. The center of rotation looks to be following very closely to State Route 43 into Whitehall. Again, this is a new warning, tornado warning in effect here. Main concern here is going to be heading toward Whitehall and eventually into downtown Bloomington. If you have any friends or family in these areas that are being impacted, a like on the stream goes a long way, as well as a share. Feel free to watch us. We are also live on YouTube if you prefer to watch us over there. We prefer to watch you guys or watch on YouTube just because we feel it's a better audience and better platform to watch than Facebook is, but that's just our opinion. You can do what you guys want. This warning continues up here for Sugar Creek, Fairland, Marion, as well as Morristown, Fountaintown areas. Intense straight line winds and some rotation does continue. The area of rotation looks to be centered just to the north and a little bit west of Bogstown, heading into Fairland and Clover Village regions here. This is going to be heading close to Marion as well as Morristown. There is a lot going on here. Back here further south, we are seeing the area of rotation continue over the... I wish I knew what town that is. I wish the arrow would move.
Where are you looking, Ryan?
Between Whitehall and Braysville. It's Free something. Freeland or Freeland? I don't know what it is. But that's where the rotation currently is at. It's going to be moving in toward Ellettsville, Westbrook Downs, probably the very northern suburbs of Bloomington here by Martin Hills, Lancaster Park neighborhood. The good news, though, with this rotation, it doesn't appear to be overly tight. Thank you, Megan in chat says it's Freedom, although it doesn't look like Freedom to me. There's an AN on the end of it. Freedom is over here. This is covered up, and I cannot tell what it is. It's free, and it ends in AN. No idea. Yes, it's not Freedom. Freedom is to the west of this area. Again, this is moving toward Ellettsville, Arlington, Hunter Switch neighborhoods, as well as Whitehall. Back here further north to this warning once again, checking this out. Intense straight line winds continue moving into Bogstown and Fairland areas. Radar indicated winds are upwards of close to 80 miles per hour here. So you are in a tornado warning. The rotation at this point appears to be on the weaker side of things for right now. That could change very quickly. We're looking at the area of interest moving into Fairland, going to cross I-74 right by this airport, which is Shelbyville Municipal Airport. It's going to cross 74 in a matter of 5 minutes. Freeland, thank you. Freeman, gotcha. Thank you, guys. Warning is updated here. They continued it for radar indicated rotation. It expires in 28 minutes. And yes, I see a lot of comments saying there's a lot going on. You are correct. There is a ton going on here. We're trying to track it all. So bear with us as we do so. So if you're just tuning in, I am Ryan, and above me is Chandler. We are live here in the state of Indiana, and we'll continue to be live here tracking these rotations as well as straight line wind risks as the evening goes on. From north to south, once again, starting up here, again, Fort Wayne Metro, you guys have some rain, some storms moving in. No severe for you guys. It shouldn't go severe, in my honest opinion. Ossian about to be impacted, Bluffton being impacted, Nottingham, Montpelier, heading in toward Portland, Geneva, Bern, and Decatur areas shortly. Winchester also in line for this. Muncie about to be impacted. Red Key, Newcastle, Knightstown, and Shelbyville areas all about to be impacted by this line. I do not see anything that warrants concern. Maybe a little bit of something here by Trenton and Pennville areas. But again, not seeing that be overly tight. We'll keep an eye on that just in case it does tighten up. There is definitely some weak rotation there.
A new considerable flash flood warning has been issued.
So when you guys have a considerable flash flood warning, that means that this is a life-threatening situation. If you live in a low-lying area within those flash flood warnings, you need to be in higher ground immediately because that is likely going to sweep away people, perhaps weak structures, as well as cars. So keep that in mind if you are under a considerable flash flood warning tonight. The main concern continues to be storms, obviously. Weak rotation near Pennville. It does not appear to be overly tight, but it does warrant some concern and some watching there as it heads towards Bryan and Portland areas. Not much instability up there to work with as we do here further south. That should keep things subdued. Main concern here, Knightstown, Morristown, Shelbyville, all on deck here. Looking toward Rushville and Richland areas and Greensburg as well. Corey, what is your ET, or what is your location, please? I know Corey's out ahead of this area, so we'll keep an eye on him. Newcastle, Spiceland, Knightstown, all the way down to Greensburg and Adams in line for this. Intense winds from Bengal, Amity. Okay, copy. All right, further south here, new rotation near Ellettsville. Copy. Rotation on this cell near Ellettsville continues. There's a little two pockets here to keep an eye on. The first pocket's going to be up here near Ellettsville. The second's going to be this area down here by Whitehall. So really two pockets to watch with this cell as it progresses to the east. So if you live in Bloomington up to Wayport, Fleener areas, Indiana challenges me. High Dustin, Morgan, State Forest area, Unionville, New Unionville, Night Ridge, and then obviously downtown Bloomington. They're at IU. If you are on the campus of IU, you need to be underground if you can be. If not, lowest floor of your building, interior room, closet, away from windows. Again, not seeing anything that is tight or on the ground with this, but there is some rotation there worth monitoring and concerning. If there's no tornado with this, the winds here moving into Bloomington are still at severe criteria. So at very least in Bloomington, expect there to be very gusty winds at or above severe criteria. Let's go further south here. If you live in southeast Indiana with all these scattered pop-up, or we'll call them popcorn cells, no severe on those at this current time. The main concern for severe is back west with that squall line as it's moving through the state here. And again, if you're behind this line in Indianapolis, Terre Haute, up into Lafayette, Gary areas, you guys are all clear to go to bed at this point. This line is just now entering the south portion of the state. Vincent's about to be all clear here soon as well. Let's check out the rotation on this. Not seeing much of anything. That's good news. So at very least, because of some gusty winds down here, But at the current time, we did look at these winds as it moves toward the radar here in Johnson. We're still seeing pockets of 50 mile per hour winds with this line, but it looks like it's still just below severe criteria, if not perhaps at severe criteria. So no warnings yet for the southern part of the state. That's just great news. Hopefully we can go through the night without more warnings being on top of what's already going on here. So fingers are crossed. Back north here to those 2 warnings for tornadoes. First one up here in the Marion area. We're going to be looking at this on reflectivity as well as velocity. Very intense straight line winds here from Fountaintown down to Fairland, down even into Bengal areas. Excuse me. What you're seeing on your screen is your wind velocity. So reds are going away from the radar. We call them outbound winds. And the greens are going toward the radar for inbound winds. So when we see these coming together like this, it can sometimes indicate rotation. But in this case, we are seeing these brighter reds, in this case tan and brown colors, indicate winds upwards of 75 miles per hour are occurring. Excuse me, in the Fairland area just south of Clover Village, about to cross I-74 toward Marion, as well as Meeks, Candleglow Village, and Hildebrand. Shelbyville as well should be inside, away from windows, underground if possible. Straight line winds will move into that area as well. Smithland as well, downstream of Rays Crossing, Prescott, Gwynville, Homer, Rushville, and Sexton areas. This one down here in the Bloomington metro area continues to show rotation, although the rotation I'm seeing is still broad. We'll call it broader, perhaps weak in nature at this current time, which is good news. Regardless of that, though, likely strong winds moving into the Bloomington area here if you live in that general region, all the way up to Wayport and the state forest area of the Morgan Monroe State Forest. So overall, I think the main 2 concerns and risks here are of those tornado warnings. A new warning now incoming here. That's going to be for up in the Bluffton area, it appears, over toward the Ohio border. We'll talk about that in just a second. But these 2 tornado warnings continue to be the main concern, and definitely the one up here in Shelbyville and Morristown is most concerning at the time being. So new warning now incoming. Looks like it's probably just a downstream warning of that moving through Bluffton right now. We'll go ahead and take the North Indiana radar. Talk about that in just a second. There was some rotation up here as well. Looks to be pretty much broadened out in nature. Not seeing too much concern there. The new warning, though, is for Decatur, Berne, Geneva, Portland, Bryant, Fort Recovery, Ohio, Van Wert, Ohio as well. They're going to go 60 mile per hour winds as your main hazard and a possible tornado with this cell. This line is moving out of Bluffton, so about to be all clear there in Bluffton. Montpelier, you're all clear. Hartford's all clear. It will rain and probably will storm behind this line, but overall risk for anything tornadic and damaging wind is over. I want to put special focus and emphasis here on that warning to the east of Indianapolis Metro. If you are in Marion or Shelbyville, all the way up here toward Fountaintown and Morrisville, the bright reds, and in this case tan, are winds upwards of 70 to 75 miles per hour with this line. This is the most significant storm in the state currently that I see on radar. You guys need to be, if you don't have a basement, well, obviously if you have a, English is hard at this time of night. If you have a basement, you should be there. If you don't have a basement, find a closet or an interior room away from windows and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. The warning for a tornado continues for about 20 more minutes and includes areas like Morristown, Gwynville, Linville, Rays Crossing, Freeport, and Marion areas. Behind this, Sugar Creek, Bogstown, and London areas, you guys are pretty much all clear. You're under the warning still, but it's past you. So we'll see if they issue a downstream warning here. The rotation on this cell is still there, but I don't see anything too overly tight with it. If there's going to be a new tornado warning, if there's going to be a new tornado warning, it will likely be for the Homer, Rushville, Farmington, and Sexton areas here downstream. Statement coming in for our storms further south. We'll check that out very quickly. The line of storms as it comes out of the radar does look to increase here. So the winds on the surface appear to be less than severe criteria. And as the storms get further away from the radar, the beam goes higher and higher. And that is where the winds start to increase. So what appears to be a lower end risk for severe weather is unfolding across South Indiana with the secondary line, which is fantastic news. I, for one, don't want to stay up very late. I know you guys don't as well. So, Chandler, can you talk for like 2 minutes while I change into something more cool? Because I'm sweating my butt off in here.
Can you give me like 30 seconds here?
You got it. Back up here to the Bloomington cell in that area. We're going to check out the rotation there. Still not seeing anything tight, which is good news. So Bloomington, I know you guys have been hit hard the past couple of years. You appear to be lucked out from anything tornadic in nature today. Fantastic news there. Not seeing anything on the ground debris-wise. Not seeing anything tight rotation-wise. Wind-wise, though, likely still have some gusty winds continuing onward there.
Okay.
Chandler has you for about 2 minutes. I'm going to change into some shorts and a t-shirt here, so I'll be back in a minute.
Thanks. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning that just came in. Right now, the alerts that we're focused on right now are the tornado warning up here for the Morristown and Marion areas. Thankfully, right now, the rotation does not look very significant at all, but on a wider perspective, there is the considerable severe thunderstorm warning, which covers a lot of area here in east central Indiana, just to the east of Indianapolis, Greenfield, Knightstown areas. We are going to be seeing the potential for some heavier winds getting towards the ground. These tan areas here are in the high 60s to near 70 miles an hour, and that has our eye right now. Another special weather statement coming in here. We are also monitoring some rotation near the Bloomington area. At this time, though, it's not something that we are overly concerned with, even though there is a tornado warning on it at this time. There are some significant winds ahead of it. You have to excuse me, I'm looking at the velocity radar. That's what those different reds and greens mean. This is a radar that should look a little bit more familiar to you guys. We are seeing the potential for some heavier winds in near the Bloomington area right now. But again, the main area of concern, at least for us here at the Indiana Weather Network and Indiana Weather Online, why aren't you posting, is... All right, so they just issued a downstream severe warning for all of these areas: Northern Franklin County, Wayne County, Union County, and Fayette County until 12:15 a.m. Eastern Time. And that is going to be for the threat of the significant straight line winds that we are seeing here in the Morristown, Marion, and Knightstown areas. This is going to continue to move to the east at, oh, how fast is it moving? At 65 miles an hour. So these winds are racing that way. The primary threat here is 70 mile an hour wind gusts, and they are moving to the east at 65 miles per hour. So again, if you're in the Rushville, Richland, Orange, New Salem, Gowdy, Blue Ridge, Manila, Homer, Occident, Sexton, Gings, Falmouth, Fairview, Raleigh, Mays, Bentonville, the time is running out. It's going to be time for you to get in your safe place, whether that's downstairs in the basement or in a bathroom or in the most interior room in the house with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. The time is going to be now to be taking shelter. Again, we have obviously quite a bit of significant severe weather going on in the Indiana area tonight. We are not able to answer every location question, so if you do put it in, like I said, we probably won't be able to answer it with everything that's going on. There's, taking a wide view, there's quite a bit going on here in the state, all the way from the Fort Wayne area down past Vincennes to the Princeton area. So we apologize that we can't get to your specific location. You're just going to have to do your best with what you can see on the stream. Again, our biggest concern at this point in time is the straight line wind threat over in east central Indiana at this time. I would expect again this to continue moving to the east, possibly even southeast at 60 to 65 miles per hour. So you don't have very much time to sit outside and watch these. Again, you need to be in your safe place, ready for these events to come through. Shelbyville, it should be going through where you're at right now. Another area of rotation picking up here in Mount Auburn, Wilson's Corner, Sleepy Hollow, Flat Rock, St. Paul, Milford, Germantown, Adams, Greensburg. You guys are going to be up next here. In less than 5 minutes, it'll be in Homer, Manila, Gowdy, Blue Ridge, 10 minutes to Moscow. Shelbyville, the worst of it should be through you right now. Morristown and Marion. Again, the worst should be through here in the next 10 minutes for you guys. I just want to take a look here one last time and see what some of these velocities are. So we're starting to see some 2,000 feet off the ground at 70 plus miles per hour. So I would be surprised if that's making it all the way to the ground, those pockets of 70 miles an hour. But again, very significant severe wind gusts coming through your area right now. We need to be taking shelter for this. These tornado warnings, will be expiring here within the next 15 minutes or so. The good news is the 1 year Bloomington has expired. Just some very, very broad rotation. But again, some pockets of heavier winds are possible down here. But our main concern right now is this area of straight line winds from kind of the Flat Rock area to the north up to Morristown, Carthage, to the southeast of Greenfield area. So let's turn on a different kind of radar here, make it a little bit easier to look at. Basically, let's get the drawing tool out here. If you are on this side of the line that I'm drawing here, you are all clear. Big smiley face, big smiley face, big smiley face, big smiley face. It might rumble a little bit. There might be some gusty pockets of showers.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
But again, you have the all clear. Most of the Indianapolis metro area, I would say, is all clear at this point in time. Get ready for bed. Again, we can take a look at our map here. And really anywhere from the 74 corridor to the west should be good and ready for bed. We did just have another tornado warning come in. Ryan, if you want to post that graphic when you're back, if you can hear me. New tornado warning here is going to be for northeastern Shelby County and central Rush County. This is a downstream tornado warning for the same straight line wind event that went through Marion and Morristown. Again, there is a small little bit of notching going on in here, and like Ryan and Caleb have said, when we see that notching happen, there is the potential for a brief spin up tornado. As the velocity scans continue to come in here, we are seeing, wow, there's a pixel here of 81 miles per hour, another pixel here of 78 miles per hour. So again, I don't think these winds are making it all the way to the surface. But if they are, and even if they're not, regardless, that is some very significant straight line winds that are going to be coming through the Gowdy area, going right in between Homer, Gowdy. If you live on West 550 South Road, it's going to be coming right along that road. Milroy, Richland, New Salem, over here to the Andersonville area, that is going to be the track that this is going to take. St. Paul, Germantown, Adams, Sandusky, Downeyville, Williamstown. You guys are all going to be up next for these significant wind gusts that are working their way from west to east. I apologize, you guys, if it looks like I'm looking up into the sky. My other monitor is way up here. I normally don't run 3 monitors, but helping out on the severe coverage tonight, I want to make sure I had enough to look at. So I apologize if it looks like I'm looking up into the distance, but it is a ways away. So looking out right now, we are seeing a little bit more of a shear line here to the Bloomington area, down to Guthrie, Harrodsburg, Lydic, Bedford. I do think within the next 15 minutes, you guys will be close to all clear for the night. Our main threat, again, I know I'm focusing on this area here. It is the most prevalent area of heavy winds. Again, running between the Gowdy, Blue Ridge, and Homer areas right now. Richland, Milroy, and New Salem, you guys will be up next. Ryan, do we have any chasers out in this area?
Corey is in the general region. We can pull him up here real quick to get an idea of where he's at. Give me a second. I can get his feed in here. They'll tell us where he's at. Give me 1 second. Hagerstown, Indiana is where Corey is currently at. As far as I know, he is the only chaser we have who is currently out and about.
Okay, thank you much. Yeah, our primary concern is this band of heavy straight line winds here just north of St. Paul, working to the east-southeast at this time. There are some velocity scans there of heavier winds, and that is again our primary concern at this time. Again, everywhere to the south right now, there is a couple severe thunderstorm warnings down here for 60-mile-an-hour winds. That is for Martin County, Lawrence County, and western Jackson County until 12:15 a.m. 60-mile-an-hour winds are the primary risk there. So far, there has not been an extension of this severe thunderstorm warning towards the 65 corridor in Columbus, Elizabethtown, Jonesville areas. I would be not shocked to see one, but just maybe slightly surprised. The primary focus right now is on the tornado warning and the heavy winds between Rushville, Richland, which are going to be working into the Gowdy areas just south of Homer over the next 5 to 10 minutes. Again, St. Paul, Germantown, Moscow, and Sandusky, you guys are going to be on tap for some
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Tornado warning. Is this one? Yes. So there's been another tornado warning issued, assuming, Ryan, you have that for northeastern Rush County and southeastern Henry County in east central Indiana. This is radar indicated at this time. And we don't have the best look at it on a velocity side of things. I'm assuming they warned it for this small notch right here in the precipitation. There is a little bit here in the Louisville area of heavy winds. So if you're in the Louisville, Strawn, Cambridge City area, you guys are going to be up next. Milton, Bentonville, and Raleigh. Same thing. As of right now, the heaviest of the winds continue to remain between Homer and Gowdy, heading east-southeast towards Milroy and Richland. So there are the two, technically three. This last tornado warning is going to expire here within the next 6 minutes. But there are two tornado warnings for the state of Indiana. One of them, again, here is Rush and Henry counties, and it's just a radar indicated tornado warning at this time, and the same thing for Shelby and Rush counties headed just to the south of Rushville. We are starting to see it notch up just a little bit right here. It's not anything where I am overly concerned based on the velocity signatures. Our correlation coefficient doesn't see anything in there either, which makes me happy. Another flash flood warning. You guys do want to be taking these flash flood warnings seriously tonight. There is going to be a lot of rain falling over the entire duration of the state. So if you are in a prone to flooding area, it is best that you heed those warnings and take shelter.
We have Corey, who is going to be out ahead of this new warning that was just issued in the Hagerstown area. So ironically, our chaser is right ahead of that. He's going to pull off there, and you can see in the top right there, he is getting in position to get a visual on that. So we'll have an idea of what he's doing here, or what the storm is doing at least, in a couple of minutes.
Beautiful. Working from north to south right now, there is still the severe thunderstorm warning for the Bluffton area. Everything is working its way out of the state right now into Ohio. As we continue on down the line here, back down to the Newcastle area, Knightstown, Morristown. I'm going to be interested, Ryan, to see what this next velocity scan looks like here by Rushville. It is really starting to notch just a tiny bit. Not anything that I am majorly concerned with, but the next velocity scan will be interesting to look at. Let's take a broader look here. Again, if you're just tuning in, let's get our draw tool out here. If you are anywhere in this white shaded area that I am coloring on, go to bed. You are good to go to bed. It is going to be a nice night of sleep. Go to bed. If you're on the other side, where all the other colors are, where I didn't draw, don't go to bed yet. Not quite time. You got to stay up a little bit longer. Here, within the next hour or so, everything should move its way out of the state. We'll take a look just to the further south here. Unfortunately, these storms will continue on the southern portion of the state. Everything moving into Evansville is going to work its way across the state over the next couple hours or so. But nothing down here that I can see is really...
Yeah, the southern part of the state, I think, is getting lucky here. Now, if you guys follow our page religiously, we put out an update earlier today that stated that the storms, Corey, hold on. Corey's saying he's got power flashes on his stream. I'm going to pull him up full. Corey is in Cambridge City, Indiana. He is in front of the tornado warning there in the Hagerstown area. But what we're looking at further south, we talked about the instability of the storm field being sucked out of the atmosphere from all of our previous rounds. And while the line down there does look pretty substantial on radar, the winds are just not very lackluster. So there could be some isolated pockets there, some stronger wind gusts moving in toward Jasper, Huntingburg, and Boonville areas, but largely no severe weather is occurring down there. And that's probably because, and likely because, all that storm still got sucked out of the atmosphere, which is really good news. This line that is currently severe is about one county away from moving into Ohio. And then obviously we got to track it further south toward Columbus area, which is going to take a bit to cross. But the good news with that is out ahead of that line are pop-up storms that are sucking the fuel out of the atmosphere even further. So overall, I think this risk is winding down here across the state. And it will be over here in about another hour or so. That's my guess, or that's my guess at least. So Corey again is our chaser currently in Cambridge City. He is facing west, directly looking at the tornado warning. So for reference, Chandler, if you don't mind me taking back my radar.
Go ahead.
Cambridge City is right here, center of your screen. That's where Corey is currently sitting. And that tornado warning is right due west of him. And the rotation is pretty much directly staring right at Corey. So we'll be very curious to see what he sees here. I'm going to call him, take him back full. About 5 minutes or so, we'll have a visual. Within 5 minutes or so, should I say. So I'm going to try to make out between the lightning flashes if we can see like a base or like a lowering of any type that would indicate this is a wall cloud or perhaps a funnel cloud, stuff like that. So when you chase at night, it's always interesting to really keep an eye out. I copy, go ahead. Yeah, there is a lowering on the center right of the screen. Copy. Center right of the screen, when that lightning flashed there, appeared to be some type of lowering. We'll see if we can see that again. I don't want to spend too much time here on his feed, just because there's a lot going on here in the state still with severe and some rotation, so we're not going to keep on this too long. New severe coming in now for the Orange County area, looks like. I'll get to that in just a second. I do want to keep note here, just south of Rushville, the tornado warning continues, and the rotation with that is definitely there, but it's not overly strong. There's a gap between the green and the red coming together. So that's good news at least. Otherwise, not seeing too much there. The north part of this line, that was in Decatur and Bluffton, is now in Ohio, so all clear up there. Winchester about to be impacted along US 27. Updated warning here for 60-mile-per-hour winds and a tornado possible for Lynn, Winchester, Union City areas. Again, US 27. Fountain City, Webster, Richmond areas, Centerville, Cambridge City, where Corey is currently at. Severe warning there for 60-mile-per-hour winds and a possible tornado.
Ryan, I'm going to have a quick little snack behind the scenes here if you want to
Go
turn
for
my
it.
camera off so people don't have to watch me jump into snack time.
Go for it. Corey is reporting a lowering in front of him here. So it'll be very interesting to see what he sees here. Waiting for lightning to light this up here. So I want to keep him full until we get a good shot at this. But I'm going to watch very closely behind the scenes here. Rushville area. New Salem about to be impacted by these straight line winds. Orange, Andersonville, moving in toward the, excuse me, Laurel, Alpine, and Knolltown areas, and eventually toward Blooming Grove. When you talk for literally 6 hours in one day, your voice gets really shot, so I apologize if I'm a little bit raspy. Don't mean to be, but it's how it goes sometimes. Waiting for lightning to pick up here on Corey's stream. Again, he is facing due west here out of Cambridge City. Rotation is about 2 miles away from impacting Corey. It does appear to be weak rotation in nature, at least, so that's good news. I do think that our rotation further south toward the Rushville area we just talked about for Orange, New Salem, Andersonville, and Lakeview areas is more significant. There's some lightning there. You can see good base moving in. All right. Oh, yeah, there you go. There is the leading edge of there. Looks like a nice little U-shaped curve as that progresses towards Corey there. We'll keep him here for about another minute or two, and we'll go back to radar and go over what's ahead here for the evening. Outside of this area, actually, watching a couple areas here in the Brownstown, heading toward Columbus, Seymour, Brownstown, Freetown areas. We'll watch that a little closely there. There is some kinkiness within that line and some embedded velocity that could be higher in nature. I wouldn't be shocked to see that increase as well. We'll talk about that in just a second, though. Corey is a minute away from being impacted by the leading edge of this line, so I want to see what he sees here. We're going to actually, while we can, we have like a minute or two here before that storm impacts him. This is the Rushville area I'm watching with straight line winds. New Salem, Andersonville, Lakeview, Mount Auburn out ahead of this. That's one pocket there. Also watching this region here from Freetown, Nashville areas, all the way down here toward Mitchell, Medora, heading toward Brownstown, Seymour. This is going to be a shear line, we call it, out ahead of this. We could see some embedded rotation within that line as well. So a couple areas to watch there. Obviously, Corey's area up here in Cambridge City, about to be impacted here any second. I'm going to take Corey back on the screen for you guys to watch. And then once Corey intercepts us, we'll go ahead and flip back to radar and go over everything once again. If you're watching from Indianapolis, watching from Terre Haute, watching from Gary, watching from Vincennes area, all clear, go to bed. This line's past you guys. You are good to go to bed. Same thing applies for Muncie, Anderson, Marion, Huntington, Fort Wayne, and Gola. All clear, go to bed. About to be clear is going to be Winchester and Newcastle areas, Geneva, Portland, Shelbyville, and Greenwood areas, as well as Bloomington, Washington, and Mount Carmel, Princeton areas. All good, go to bed. Copy. So Corey is pointing the camera where he thinks the rotation is. But unfortunately, as you can see, there's not much lightning out there to give us a shot. Or him a shot at this, to see anything with that line. That's the unfortunate part of this, at least. Rotation on his cell is definitely there, but appears to be weak in nature. A blip and notch, but I do not see much that warrants concern. Corey, I don't know if you're watching the stream or not, but the rotation does appear quite weak over your location. So just FYI on that, you should be good. New advisory coming in there for Southern Indiana. All right, we'll go ahead and take back radar here, as looks like Corey is pretty much dark, unfortunately, with the lighting. Oh, there's some lightning. Copy. He is in the rotation right now where it would be at. It does appear quite weak still, so he's fine. And he's likely experiencing some gusty winds there. It's hard to tell without any lightning or anything like headlights or stuff like that to really give us a view. But overall, it looks pretty gusty in nature. The street sign is kind of swaying back and forth there. The raindrops are kind of blowing, but overall, looks like a garden variety in nature at that point. So we'll come back to that in just a second. I have him in my ear as well, so if anything happens, he can scream at me and get us to go back, take him back full here. But taking back the radar at least. Let's go north to south again. As mentioned, Fort Wayne and points westward, all clear. You do have a couple areas to watch here. Along Fort Recovery, Ohio, down toward Winchester. The warning continues here. There is some pockets of embedded weak rotation within the line.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Okay. We'll talk about that in just a second, guys. We have a new warning incoming. There it is.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
North to south. Again, Winchester being impacted, Hagerstown being impacted, Cambridge City. Up next, Union City, Richmond, Liberty, Connorsville. Watching the area down here in New Salem and Orange very closely. We see a couple areas here. I don't like to see this indentation of the line. That could be some rotation that tries to begin to develop here. So we're going to watch that a little bit more closely. That is currently tornado warned here in Rushville. It's on the east side, so you guys are okay there in Rushville. Farmington, Orange, New Salem, out ahead of this, Alpine, Knolltown, Everton, and Laurel areas. Bunker Hill, Connorsville, and Alquina, all out ahead of that line, and some rotation and also wind. New tornado warning incoming. We just talked about this again. We're getting good at the calls tonight. About 3 to 5 minutes ago, of this area we called a shear line of some embedded rotation, and they went ahead and put a warning on this for the Columbus region. I don't see anything on this that is too tight, at least. The text of the warning does say moving east at 50. It's for southeastern Brown County as well as Bartholomew County. Chandler, can you get the warning on that, or do you need me to get the warning? Okay, thank you. So moving east at 50 miles per hour. Locations impacted will be Columbus, Hope, Elizabethtown, Hartsville, Clifford, Jonesville, Newbern, Waymansville, Gnawbone, Grammar, Spurgeon's Corner, Azalea, and Stonehead. This is going to be radar indicated rotation, and the greens next to the reds are what prompted that. We may see additional warnings further south here toward Brownstown and Seymour areas. Keep that in mind. This warning expires in 20 minutes, so a short fused warning here for the Elizabethtown Columbus region. So keep that in mind. It expires at midnight. I almost said midnight 15. 12:15 a.m. is the expiration time on that. Rotation is quite weak in nature, in my opinion, along this entire line. Brownstown, Medora area still looking like the same general region there of weak rotation. Down here in South Indiana toward Jasper, Huntingburg, all the way down to Boonville and Evansville. A weaker line of storms is moving through. It looks pretty nasty on radar, but the wind velocity is quite subdued. So as we talked about, there's potential for isolated severe weather with that line, but widespread severe weather appears unlikely due to the lack of storm fuel further south. Let's go back further north. Corey is back in the rain shield, it appears. We'll go ahead and take his stream back up full for a minute. Again, he is in Cambridge City, and he is now well within that line. I'm going to get an update from Corey on wind speeds. Corey, how strong do you think the winds are at your location? Copy that. He suggested that the winds initially as the line impacted him were close to severe criteria. However, they have since subsided down to about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So that's usually the case with severe storms. They'll hit you with a blast of wind. And then usually after that first initial blast of wind, things will usually subside. I do want to take back the radar and talk about this bulge here happening in Andersonville and the Lakeview Alpine region. We don't like to see bulges because when things bulge, we could get airflow coming in on the north end of that and kind of spin something up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. If anything were to spin up, it'd be over on the north side towards Columbia, Knolltown, and Everton areas. Right now, though, we're just seeing a little bit of a indentation there of winds coming out, and as winds go out, air can kind of flow back on the top side of that, and that could cause some rotation up there. So that is our concern with that area. No downstream tornado warning for the Connorsville Alpine region, but we did get a new warning now for Wayne County here in Indiana. In fact, they just let the warning here expire in 2 minutes, so likely no downstream warning coming for that. Let's go ahead and look at the Wayne County area. This is going to be... Where is this? I swear I had this. Okay, so it's a very small sliver here of Wayne County. So new warning now. Most of it's for Ohio. That's why I'm so confused. 11:56 p.m. until 1 a.m. expiration time. 60-mile-per-hour winds is your only hazard there. And that's really just for the Richmond area as this line approaches you guys in Richmond. Liberty, Connorsville, Brookville on deck here. Further south, tornado warning continues for the Columbus region. Let's check out the velocity here. I still do not see much of anything here in this region. We're looking for bright greens and bright reds meeting together, forming a couplet. I don't see that happening. Same thing applies down here from Bobtown to Shields to Brownstown down towards Sparksville and Fairview. Although there is some increase in velocity here near Brownstown latest scan. Watch that very carefully as that progresses toward Dudleytown and Uniontown just south of Seymour. Hagerstown should be good in about a couple minutes. You guys let the line pass you. Once the line passes you guys are good to go to bed. So keep that in mind. As long as the line has passed you, you are A-okay to go to bed. The Newcastle to Greensburg, Rushville severe warning is expiring. A lot of warnings expiring here in about a minute, so we'll see a lot of these boxes pop off the screen, which is great news. Zooming out and taking a look at the large scale spectrum here, things are winding down, which is great news. However, this is your motion. Copy. As you can see here, the line is progressing eastward pretty quickly across the state. Areas behind the line, from Vincennes to Indianapolis to Huntington to Fort Wayne to Angola, and then points back to the west, you guys are all clear to go to bed. Only areas you need to stay up and monitor this line are areas in Richmond, Liberty areas, Greensburg, all the way down to Versailles, how you guys pronounce it, Scottsburg, Madison, Corydon, Jasper. And that is going to be the areas and locations that need to stay up and await this line as it progresses through. I am noticing, Chandler, there's an MCV-like feature heading into Columbus, which is likely why that new warning was issued. MCVs are localized areas of localized areas of low pressure that like to cause spin and can enhance rotation and wind velocity. And if you animate the radar here, if you look at the path of this, It takes a good eye to kind of catch, but there's a little bit of a twisting motion that suggests we may have an MCV or some type of mesoscale feature, a small scale feature here that's kind of enhancing our wind fields here on this Columbus cell. So likely why they issued that tornado warning. Although I don't see anything coming together just yet, it may still come together here as it moves toward the east. Burnsville, Elizabethtown, Westport areas are downstream of that area of interest. Seymour about to be impacted here as well. Brownstown currently being impacted. Gusty winds upwards of 60 miles per hour are possible. Most of these winds are likely starting to fall below severe criteria. Overall, not a. I think our threat is starting to trend down a little bit here as we move into the midnight hour. There's not much at this point to talk about. I think the main area to talk about really is going to be in the Connorsville and Laurel areas. There is some broad rotation showing up on this Laurel cell. It's not very strong though. Definitely a downtrend occurring here. Both warnings are the only warning currently for a tornado. That appears to be quite weak in nature, so no high concern with that. Most of these storms are just gusty in nature at this point. A lot of warnings out there and probably some 60 mile per hour winds scattered throughout, but overall we're not seeing a large, considerable destructive severe warnings anymore here in Indiana. So things are definitely trending down, which is great news. Current time is 12:02 a.m. Welcome to Tuesday, April 28th. I am Ryan, joined below me, Chandler. On the screen currently we have Corey, we had Parker, Caleb, Evan, and Drew on here as well. All of our chasers, moderators, staff members behind the scenes. Appreciate all of you guys. We'll be live for a little bit longer, but with the distinct downtrend here, we'll probably look to wrap things up here pretty soon. But again, we're going to wait probably at least 20 more minutes at very least, as things begin to downtrend here, just to make sure things don't evolve further. But definitely on the right track to get the stream over here very, very soon. Sirens going off in Columbus, that is a good thing. You're under a tornado warning. Although right now the rotation in this cell is weak, I don't see anything worth really warranting concern. Anything would be south of Columbus, and that would be in the Waynesville area. Not seeing anything on the debris tracker or anything like that warrants pointing out. So, yes, there is a tornado warning for 11 more minutes for you guys in Columbus and surrounding areas, but not seeing anything that really stands out to me on radar. If you're in Seymour, likely some gusty winds moving through town now. Maybe some hail as well. Let's check out the hail tracker on this one. It's not updated yet, but the purples and pinks there, wouldn't be shocked to see a couple hailstones mixed in there in the Seymour area. We'll zoom out, take a look at the regional side of things, animate the radar, pop this off the screen, relax for a minute. There you go.
It looks so much nicer than mine when I zoom out all the way.
I have some special features turned on mine, so We'll get you up to speed. Southeast Indiana is really the only concern now for anything severe as this line progresses toward Connorsville, as well as Madison areas, anywhere between those two general regions. But the good news, though, as mentioned previously, all of these rain showers that have been popping up out ahead all night long have sucked a lot of our fuel out of the atmosphere. So a distinct downtrend will continue into the evening and English is hard, man. Late evening and early morning hours here on Tuesday. Chantel in chat says hail in Seymour now sounds small. Yeah, I'd probably say pea to dime size would be a good guess. The overall concern today, if you guys caught our forecast this morning or our briefings or videos, we didn't really think hail was going to be a huge concern today, and that really wasn't the case. So hail, the growth aspect of hail today didn't really pique our interest, so to speak. Mainly a wind and a tornado risk. And as far as I know, we have plenty of severe wind reports and damage across the state today. There could have been a couple pockets of rotation that need surveyed. We'll be in communication with the Weather Service to talk about surveys and stuff later on at a later date. But for right now, I know today across multiple rounds, a lot of severe has occurred. Let's go ahead and go south to north here, starting in Evansville and working our way up. In fact, new warning incoming now. Looks like for the eastern counties there. Not surprised by that. This line further south still appears below severe criteria. Not surprised that they haven't warned anything down there. That's great news. Paoli is under a warning, being impacted now by some gustier winds. Salem about to be impacted as well. Hardinsburg, Fredericksburg. Although when I turn the velocity on this, it doesn't really pique my interest much with these signatures. So it could be some gusty winds in those areas, but otherwise not seeing much of anything at this current moment. Let's go north up here to Columbus and Seymour. As we mentioned, the hail in Seymour potentially small to perhaps dime size in nature. We'll watch this area closely. We do see a couple instances of brighter reds that could indicate we could have some stronger winds, maybe some rotation picking up. But right now, not seeing that as a huge concern here. That warning in Columbus still looks to be weak in nature. I don't see anything rotating hard in that warning, which is great news there. That will expire in 7 minutes. Greensburg, Westport, and Vernon areas will be on deck as this line progresses to the east. Vernon's on deck. Lovett, Westport, Osgood, Versailles, Lancaster areas on deck. The new warning incoming is going to be for another hour. 60-mile-per-hour winds is your going hazard. That extends well into Ohio. Liberty, Indiana, Brookville, Indiana, the main two cities in here. Blooming Grove, Metamora, Peppertown, Oldenburg, Young's Corner, Cedar Grove, Mount Carmel, Bath.
A new considerable flash flood warning has been issued.
Billingsville, Roseburg, and Goodwin's Corner. Now, again, if you guys are in a flash flood warning or a considerable flash flood warning, please take it seriously. Especially those considerable warnings. They do have a purpose, and it's basically communicating that, hey, if you live in a low-lying area, it's time to move to higher ground ASAP, because your life may be in danger to rapidly rising waters. Statements continue to pile in for southern Indiana. Again, statements are a step below severe criteria, so we're not seeing those severe winds further south. We're going to be replaced by special weather statements, and those can cover winds up to 55 miles per hour. Down here, though, I do have my statements turned off. I will turn them back on for the time being. Copy. All these blue boxes, they're hard to see, but you can kind of see them throughout the rain shield. Basically, all these are saying wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour within them. That's really about the only thing I'm seeing here. That's about it. So we're on a downtrend, that's for sure. I know Chandler and I are very tired. We've been live in also Michigan for about 2 to 3 hours earlier today. And also, we were live earlier today in Indiana for about an hour as storms first approached the Vermilion County area. So we may have been quite busy here today in both states of operations. Seymour down to Crawfordsville, not Crawfordsville, Crothersville has some gusty winds moving in their direction. Austin, Paris Crossing, Comiskey, Lovett, and Deputy out ahead of this line. This may warrant another warning for the northern part of these two counties near Austin and Lancaster. Those counties are going to be Washington. I had it. I lost it. Washington, Jefferson, and Scott counties. Yoder with a super chat on YouTube says, y'all are awesome. Hopefully peoples are safe and sound. The deer in Lapeer miss you, though. Oh, goodness, Yoder. You're a Michigander, aren't you? Oh, man. Thank you, though, for your support there on YouTube there, Yoder. Again, if you're watching over on Facebook, feel free to pop over to YouTube. We are live on both platforms simultaneously. We prefer YouTube, personally, just because it's a better interface. And we're also trying to increase our following there. We only have about 5,000 subscribers, so feel free to hit the subscribe button while you're over there. We much appreciate it. Back north to the north side of this line, Winchester all clear. Richmond still being impacted by this line. You're in the worst of it right now. Another considerable
flash flood warning has been issued.
Considerable flash flood warning is what I meant to say there. Let's turn on our flood warnings here, guys, across the state. My radar is about to become very popular with a lot of green, I bet you. Let's turn these on. There you go. Yeah, not too bad. Most of these flash flood warnings are further south, it appears. I'm trying to turn the radar off. There's a way to do this, but I'll just choose Oklahoma radar. Okay, so the considerable flash flood warnings must be in red here. So a couple of those for Madison, Scottsburg areas, Salem, French Lick, and Paoli. Considerable flash flood warning is observed. Looks like they are saying local law enforcement report thunderstorms producing heavy... I can't read it this time of night. Local law enforcement reported thunderstorms producing heavy rain between 3 and 4 inches have already fallen. The hazard is life-threatening flash flooding and thunderstorms continuing to dump heavy rain there. That's going to be pretty much the same wording across these red boxes for considerable flash flood warnings. The green boxes are radar indicated flash flood warnings. So Indianapolis Metro, likely some flooding around your areas there as well. Down here in the Vevey, East Enterprise, Mount Sterling areas also has a flash flood warning there. And also down here by Sellersburg and New Albany. Also one down here, also observed. This is going to be flash flooding that could be life-threatening in nature. If you find yourself within a flash flood warning, if you know you live in low-lying areas, it is best to move to higher ground immediately. New severe coming in. This is way further south. This is a little bit of a surprise, mostly for the Kentucky side of things, but this does include portions of Vaughn on the southwest side of Evansville. 60-mile-per-hour winds is your hazard with that storm. I don't see much there on radar. Is that a train spotter reporting that, or nope? They're going to go radar indicate on that. So again, that's going to be a severe warning for Hausler areas, Cypress, Vaughn, Rom, as well as Mars Center, southwest side of Evansville. Still watching that Seymour region and Crothersville heading toward Lovett and Vernon. That's going to be a line that's progressing to the east and does likely contain some gusty winds with it, and maybe some broad rotation there as well. This is going to expire officially here at 12:15. The tornado warning is now dropped off to a severe warning. The highest active alert in Indiana is a baseline severe thunderstorm warning. So no considerable tags, no destructive tags. It is just a baseline severe warning, which means we are trending down, and we are doing a great job of it. If this continues, we'll likely hop out of here in the next 20 minutes, a half hour or so. Maybe 12:30 will be a good time to wrap things up. overall, a very messy storm mode has taken over, and most of our pockets of distinct damaging wind and rotation have all subsided to more subtle signatures and perhaps isolated pockets within this line, which means we are most likely not needed to continue our coverage much longer. I do want to mention off of the Louisville radar by Marengo, Hardinsburg, and Fredericksburg, these winds may be close to severe criteria over the town of English. No warning yet, or no warning or statement, or it might be a statement in effect there. I have this turned off again. We'll turn those back on, leave them on. No statement even for this. So if you're in English, Marengo, Milltown, Kirby, Wyandotte areas, these winds may be close to severe criteria. They're about 2,000 feet off the ground. They're about 50 to 60 miles per hour ahead of this line there. New severe incoming. This is going to be this flashing box here on the screen for Batesville, Versailles, Osgood, and Milan areas. 60 mile per hour winds is going to be your only hazard there. Hail and tornadoes not expected with that storm. Well, we just talked about this area. Now there's a statement in effect. So apparently the Louisville office is going to opt for a statement of 40 mile per hour winds, not even close to severe criteria. So what they're saying basically is the signature does show pretty intense winds, but likely they're elevated in nature. So not really becoming surface based. So those winds are probably not coming down to the ground, which is good news. In the meantime, though, if you live out ahead of this in Marengo, Leavenworth, Corydon areas, Georgetown, Crendel, Milltown, State Route 64 region, be alert as there could still be gusty winds moving in your direction. So many boxes of alerts on the screen here. I will go ahead and shut back off our flash flood warnings. Whoops. Just for reference. We're probably going to hop out of here fairly soon. Still not seeing much of anything that warrants attention here. Take back the Indianapolis radar here. Richmond's about to be clear. In fact, Richmond's already clear for the most part, unless you live on the east side. Boston, Witts Station, Liberty being impacted. Out ahead of this, about to be impacted is Bath, Billingsville, Charlottesville, West College Corner, Raymond, Whitcomb, Brookville, Mount Carmel areas. Batesville area about to be impacted as well. New warning now coming in for the Posey County area. Again, they just issued... I don't understand what they're doing down here. They issued a very small portion, and then they issued another box on top of the box they just issued. So I'm not sure what they're doing here. They added a tornado possible tag with this warning, and I don't see much here. I see a lot of clutter. Maybe something down here by like the DeKoven, Caseyville area, Sturgis. That's in Kentucky. Not really a concern for us in Indiana. But it does include Posey County, portions of it at least. Again, not seeing anything that really stands out to me. May have some hail falling near Hovey, though. About to move into Kentucky, so again, not a concern of ours. Yeah, I think we're... Only thing keeping me on here currently is this Seymour line that looks like it's producing some pretty strong wind gust here, entering Lovett as well as Vernon, North Vernon areas. Otherwise, I don't see much else that that warrants concern at this point. We'll go ahead and get all this clutter off the screen, zoom out, animate it so you guys can get an idea of what's happening there. There you go. Turn to the chat for right now. Is Seymour clear? Yeah, Seymour's clear. Going to be rainy and perhaps some thunders out there. Rumbles of thunder throughout the evening. But yeah, you guys are all clear from the severe go to bed in Seymour. You guys are A-okay. You know, there are some towns in Indiana, for example, Vigo or Vigo County. I've heard it pronounced both ways. People in chat say pronounce it both ways. Seymour, like saying more, but people also call it Seymour. There's a lot of pronunciations and opinions out there, so if I am mispronouncing something, I apologize. I've heard it said both ways for some of these towns. And some towns we just straight up butcher. We can't get around that. Indy's good, go to bed. Brownstown, you're good, go to bed. You're fine. Elizabethtown, you should be good, go to bed. You're good to go. Yes, Salem is about to be clear. I'd say Salem, give it another 10 to 15 minutes, and Salem will be good to go to bed then. Evansville is pretty much okay. You have some storms off to your southwest that may try to brush the south side of town there, but I think Evansville largely is okay to go to bed as well. Nikki says Vevey is Vivi. Looks like Vevey to me. It's crazy. Does anybody know of like a website, like a pronunciation guide for Indiana? I know Wisconsin has one, Michigan has one, I think Ohio even has one. I've yet to find one for Indiana. If they exist, let us know. I'd gladly look up a website or a book for pronunciations. I see a lot of questions being asked about if they're good to go to bed. So I can tell you this, it's always best to know where you live on a Indiana map here. And the reason for that is for situations like this. I'm about to draw a huge circle here in Indiana. If you are in this large area of Indiana within this white circle, go to bed. You are okay. The only areas really need to be watched are further south and east currently. We're going to go ahead and talk about some cities around the areas need to be watching right now. Brookville, Batesville. I think the only concern I really have is going to be this area in Vernon, heading toward Osgood and Versailles, or Versailles. Somebody correct me in chat again. Heading toward Milan, Dillsboro, Manchester areas. This line right here from Westport down to Lubbock, that has some pretty nasty winds. In fact, the latest scan down here by Scottsburg has wind gusts upwards of severe criteria once again on the southern edge of this line. It's actually in a spot that does not have a warning currently, heading toward the Madison area. So if you're in Madison, Smyrna, North Madison, Rikers Ridge, Telegraph Hill, Antioch Grange, heading your direction there, could be some heavier pockets of damaging wind there. Otherwise, looking down toward Corydon or Corydon, another pronunciation there. Leopold, as well as Tell City regions. No warnings in effect down there. Things should stay subdued in nature as that line progresses to the east. Again, not seeing much of anything out there. McKinsey says Versailles. Versailles. Okay. A lot of people saying Versailles. All right.
Yeah, Ryan, come on, it's Versailles. What are we doing?
I have done much worse pronunciations of other city names before.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, let's not get started on that. A new statement coming in now for the Perry, Indiana area. That's going to be down by the Kentucky border. Down by Tell City and Corydon. Is it Corydon or Corydon? I've always called it Corydon. I had somebody tell me the other day in a not nice fashion that it was Corydon. So, I've heard it pronounced both ways and said both ways. I'm not local to these areas, so beats me. So we're putting a statement over a severe warning within a severe warning. Make that make sense, Chandler. We have a special weather statement within a severe warning on top of a severe warning on top of another statement. What is going on down here in the Evansville area? This is on the Kentucky side of things, but we have so many overlapping alerts. It's getting to the hour that we're going to find things funny that shouldn't be funny, but it's crazy to me that we have like 4 or 5 statements and warnings in effect for the same counties. It's crazy. Anyway, Den. Allison says Corridone. It's all sorts of ways. As long as you guys know what I'm talking about, that's what matters. That's really what matters here. It could be Corridon, 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 Corridon. You guys know what I mean. That's what matters. All right. I think, Chandler, we are to a point now where I am confident enough that we're not going to see much else out there. Perhaps some gusty winds and perhaps a few more warnings out there, but I don't see rotation. I don't see significant wind. I don't see anything that warrants us to stay on here and stay alive for another 90 minutes while these storms exit into Ohio and Kentucky. So right now at 12:27 a.m., we are going to end our coverage for the evening. If you are behind the line, you are okay. Out ahead of it, really only the very far southeast counties of Indiana need to be alert here for some damaging wind potential. But even then, it looks to be pretty subdued at this point. So I think the system here is wrapped up. Behind the line, light to moderate rainfall and thunder will continue, but severe weather is largely over for 90% of the state currently. Like I said before, southeast counties, be alert for additional warnings that could be issued here. Excuse me. Next 90 minutes or so before the line moves out into Ohio and Kentucky. We'd like to say thank you to our chasers, moderators, staff members behind the scenes, communications, all that, as well as our sponsor, Rutgers Outdoor Services, based out of the Indianapolis metro area. If you have tree damage or just general tree needs across Marion County and surrounding regions, feel free to get a hold of Rutgers Outdoor Services. Number bottom right of your screen is 317-665-3969. They'd be happy to assist you in any tree services that you may need. Copy that, Corey. Thank you. Corey is signing off for the night, so thank you, Corey, for that chase feed for the evening. Current time, 12:28 p.m. Goodness, 12:28 a.m. It is currently Tuesday morning. We're going to wrap up our stream here, so in the meantime, Southeast Indiana, stay tuned just in case more warnings are issued, but the threat should be over in about 60 to 90 minutes here for the entire state of Indiana. So in the meantime, enjoy your evening. Stay safe out there, guys. And we'll have updates for our next system, whenever that may be. Nothing short-term, which is great news. What?
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Well, we're going to continue our coverage here for a little bit longer. I'm not sure what's going on over here, but we're going to take a look. It's actually fairly valid here off the airport radar. Very weak rotation, just north of Butlerville and south of Zenas, Nebraska area. Green's next to the Reds there. I'm surprised they warned that, honestly. The VROT on this is not really close to severe criteria. You going to get the warning on that, Chandler? I assume you are already.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Thank you. So again, tornado warning, very short fuse warning, expires in 15 minutes. It's going to be for the very, very small portion of Jennings County, moving east at 55, in effect until 12:45 a.m. The rotation with this does not really stand out to me. I do see off of the Cincinnati airport radar that there is a little bit something there, but it's not tight. It's not any means tight or imminent. So I'm not sure what they're warning there. So again, there is broad rotation. I'm not going to say there's no rotation at all. There is rotation there. So treat it seriously. I guess they may think that it could tighten up perhaps, but this is heading toward Osgood, Delaware, and Versailles. We'll see if they issue a downstream warning here for those areas. I'm surprised they haven't, because this is about a mile and a half from that county line. Check out the CC, see if there's anything on the ground with debris, which I would not assume with that signature, and I don't see anything there that suggests that is the case. SRV does have a little bit better look at things. Just south of Zenith here, it's a fairly rural area out here. But yeah, not see much there. I will stay live for about 5 more minutes to see if they issue a downstream warning here for the Osgood area, but I just don't see much there for the rotation on this. I do think that this line does carry some potential for damaging wind with the brighter reds there. I just don't see much in the way of rotation. And this is going to be your line moving to the east here. So keep an eye out further downstream for that, but just not seeing rotation. Once this warning expires or the storm moves out without a downstream warning, we'll still pop out of here. Latest scan, there is movement on this, but I don't see a distinct couplet coming together. The greens are bright, but the reds are not meeting very well, so it's very broad rotation at best. That's going to be a new warning incoming. Again, a severe warning over a severe warning over a severe warning within a special weather statement going on down here in Evansville. I do not understand what they're doing. All these boxes going on, I don't understand this at all. It's just crazy. But again, this is a new warning coming in for Newburgh, the east part of Evansville, up toward Boonville, New Hope, Richland, down toward Patronville, Enterprise, and the Hatfield, Yankeetown, Dayville areas. 60-mile-per-hour winds and a tornado possible. I do not see anything here either that really warrants concern. The velocity on this is very weak in nature. I would suggest gusty winds, but I don't see rotation on it that warrants tornado possible or that warrants mention of anything tornadic immediate concerning. But again, potential is there, as we do have a lot of wind shear out there tonight. Just not a lot of storm fuel to work with to get these storms sustainable. Let's check out the... Here's something to note here, Chandler. They just updated the downstream warning for the Osgood area, and there's no possible tornado attack on that warning at all. So that's great news. I don't see any rotation with this besides broad. There's nothing holding hands, as Caleb always calls it. They're just kind of running parallel to each other. So it's broad. It's there. There is very broad rotation, but it's not imminent.
I went and looked back. If you go back to the scan at like 12:26, I can see why they did it. Looking at that scan.
Yeah, going back here, you
can zoom in on the area.
Yeah, you can see it.
Switch to the IND radar.
Okay.
Go a little bit forward. There you go. You can see the velocity blip right there.
Borderline.
Yeah, but you can see right after that is when they did it. So I get it.
In the meantime, though, the rotation has since subsided, and the storm has now exited the tornado warning there with no downstream warning. So I'll give it about 3 more minutes or so, maybe another scan or two of radar, and then if no downstream warning, we'll go ahead and try to pop out once again and enjoy our night. But I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do with this. I don't expect them to reissue another warning, though. Cambridge City's fine. You can go to bed. You guys are good. No, you guys in North Vernon are fine. You're just in the backside of some wind and rain, so no need to take shelter at that point. I would not be shocked. There's no warning down here for the Madison, China, Bellevue, Cannon, Manville region. Proving Ground Town. Must be, I don't know what the... Somebody help me out. What manufacturer has proving grounds down there? Anyway, damaging wind perhaps moving over these areas. Currently across the state, I do not see anything tornadic in nature. Rotation is quite broad in nature. Osgood, Versailles, Milan, Delaware, Manchester, Dillsborough, Olean areas on deck. New flood advisory for Jay County up there near the Ohio border. Yeah, I'm just not impressed with what I'm seeing here on radar. So I still hold true to the fact that we should wrap things up here. We'll check out the airport radar one more time here. There's a little bit of a notch going on there. I don't like that, but it's very broad in nature. It's hard to tell, Chandler. What do you think, Chandler? What do you think?
My opinion's no longer valid at this hour.
Fair enough. I do see movement on this is more so parallel, so that is reassuring. So I'm leaning toward hopping out of here once again. We'll give it another minute or two. Next scan just to kind of see that, and then if that looks okay, we'll hop out and we'll end our coverage here. In the meantime, though, most of the state really is out of the severe criteria, or severe storms anyway. This line is moving into Kentucky as we speak. And then obviously up here, this is moving into Ohio. So about 1 or 2 counties. And then obviously the bottom tier counties down here. So really for 95% of Indiana, we're all clear. They went ahead and expired that warning. They're going to let that continue for 6 more minutes. And then they're going to pretty much, they canceled it. Perfect. So they went ahead and canceled that early. We are back down to base severe warning criteria. The rotation in that region that prompted that warning was weak and broad as it was. And next scan here is continuing that weak and broad trend. So looking at the animation, I don't see much here that says we're going to see anything tighten up. So in the meantime, I think we're going to wrap it up and pop out of here once again, at least try to. In the meantime, expect a few more warnings to be issued, but largely just near or sub-severe storms with winds of 60 mile per hour or less at this point. And anything that rotates will be weak and broad in nature. Not expecting much in the way of anything on that front anymore tonight. In the meantime, from Chandler to myself, the team here at IWN, thank you for watching, tuning in. We're going to wrap our coverage up here at 12:40 a.m. after about 3 hours of live coverage. You guys enjoy your night. Stay safe. Enjoy the outro, guys.